Summon Sign is brought to you by you. If you want to learn how to support our show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Hello everyone, welcome to episode 70 of Summon Sign, Last Stand Media's weekly in-depth game discussion podcast. I'm your host, as always, Brad Ellison. Joining me, I got a lovely crew today. Very excited about this one. First, we're going to start off with my boy, Dustin Furman. Dustin, how are you, dude?
I'm doing just fine. We were just having a conversation about high amounts of caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm drinking my second cup, and I just got a shower, and I was clipping my nails, and I was like, oh, I'm shaking slightly. So you know what that means? Round two, no problem. But I'm going to need it for the show because it's going to be, I have a feeling this is going to be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see, though.
Yeah, with your revolver mug as well. I like that. With your
revolver mug. This mug has seen better days. The inside, it's like all scratched up. It probably needs to go, but I can't.
No, you can't let go of that.
Revolver
you got to keep that going.
No, definitely not.
Also, we got Gene Park here. Gene, how are you, dude?
Good. I'm a little tired this morning because I spent all night last night beating the secret super boss of Expedition 33.
Mm-hmm.
Got him down. But
Very
that
nice.
was a tough fight. I'm excited to talk about this in this very, very special episode.
What's that game? I have not heard of it.
Yeah. No one's talking about it these days.
No one's talking about it.
No one's talking about it yet.
That stupid
Indie game.
Yeah.
Yes. And we have special guest, voice actor extraordinaire. I don't know. Wonderful human, Ben Starr. Ben, good to see you again, man.
Hi, how is everyone doing?
Good, dude. I just woke up. I'm doing good though.
Yeah, you did the big old super boss. Are we allowed to talk about that? I mean, I think I don't want to spoil it for people, but I am excited for people to fight that.
Mm-hmm. We can get into that. We're going to talk about all about Expedition 33 and all that stuff. When we do, though, yes, I'll give you guys a section where you can talk about that if you want. So,
right.
I'm going to plug my ears because I'm not there yet, though.
I was going to say I'm only towards the end of Act 2.
So, okay. Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. No, this is definitely
we're not getting into it. We're not getting into it.
Okay.
Guys.
Yeah. Maybe in the future.
I'm excited to talk to Ben because Ben and I have met before, but this podcast will probably be the longest continuous conversation we would have.
Yeah.
Because most of the time Ben and I are just holding hands and stuff. So
yeah, I think we've spent 80% of our time together just holding hands, just staring longingly into each other's eyes.
Yeah.
So it's nice to say some words for once.
Yeah. Nice change of pace to actually get to know you, right?
So like less romantic, more informative. I mean, it can be both, but why not?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Ben, it's good to see you again. I met you before 16 came out, right? I think that's right when I met you.
Yeah. I reached out to you and said I'm a big fan. So, and we've kind of been friends ever since. You've been an amazing support, actually. It's been really lovely because I felt like a really enthusiastic horse at the races, ready to go at the launch of Final Fantasy 16. And I messaged a few people whose content that I really liked and people who I really trusted. And it's been really nice, actually, because up until now, no one's really betrayed that trust. Like every person I've reached out to, I have a really good, I think, healthy, nice relationship with. And it was just nice, going for drinks and having honest conversations about what it's like to be in the industry. Yeah,
when I talked to you about games, I was like, holy shit, this guy definitely knows his games. I was caught off guard how much you're a hardcore gamer. It's quite wonderful. Well, like last time I talked to you, you're like, I was playing Case of the Golden Idol. I was like, damn.
Yeah, deep. Oh God, I was so deep in that. I became obsessed with the Golden Idol series. I just think it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm now also deep in Blueprints at the same time as Expedition 33. So there's a lot going on in my life, a lot of things to be unpacked. But video games are good right now.
Oh yeah, so good. All right, guys, before we get into the games we're going to talk about, all that kind of stuff, please check us out on patreon.com/laststandmedia if you'd like to support us. Leave us a nice rating if you enjoy the show, all that good stuff. You want some merch? We got it at laststandmedia.store. Ben, before we get into the games, is there anything you would like to kind of talk about or promote? Anything else coming on?
You know what? Why not?
Yeah.
I'm doing a cool thing at PAX East
soon.
I am hosting the Final Fantasy Cross Magic the Gathering reveal event. You want to see some more of those sexy cards? I'm hosting it. We've got some amazing guests on. Come and join me live from PAX as I journey you through Magic the Gathering and Final Fantasy. And we've got some amazing guests. It's 2 hours of me being me. We've got some insane people who I'll be interviewing, and it's going to be a really good close-up look of how much care and attention has gone into this collaboration. And I've been rehearsing it with the team, and even at times my jaw's been on the floor with how cool they've managed to convert that Final Fantasy experience to Magic the Gathering. So I'm excited for people to see more.
Yeah, I already pre-ordered some of the Magic sets, but it's dangerous. I'm like, I gotta slow down because I want to buy all of them because they're awesome. You're like, oh, Final Fantasy 6 set, 10 set. No 16 set yet that I know of. Well, there might be some cards. I'm not sure.
Who's to say? I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say, but I know
don't
things.
Don't say. Yeah.
But it's very cool. Yeah. So next week, I believe Saturday the 10th, I'll be doing it from PAX. But I'm sure people will be clipping it and showing their favorite cards off if they make an appearance.
Yeah. So if you're at PAX, check that out. Go see all that sweet Magic stuff.
Yeah. Have you played Magic, Ben?
I have. I am not particularly good at it, but I think that's kind of the point, right? Just get better at it. It's such an addictive thing, and I will be making a custom Final Fantasy themed set. Because I just think, it is an iconic game, and I know so many of my friends who are just so deeply into it and into the culture. And this is a great excuse for people to, come on in. I'm not a Magic expert, but I like to think I know a thing or two about Final Fantasy. And hopefully it means that you're going to get more people discovering it through that. If you've never played it before and you're just like, I'm a Final Fantasy 10 nut. And it's like, well, come on in. I'm sure we're going to cater for you. And you can build a deck based around your favorite characters from that game.
Yeah. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
And dangerous for my wallet.
Super. The art's nice.
It's very
nice
good.
Art. I can't believe I get to do this sort of stuff.
It's awesome, dude. I'm so happy you get to do that.
I've won a competition. Cool. I have won a competition, and people keep asking me to do stuff. I'm like, are you sure? is that really what you want?
Yes.
I'm going to say more. I hosted the Golden Joysticks last year, and they the amount of penis jokes we had to cut out of that thing because they were like, Ben, you can't say that. It's an award show. I'm one misplaced penis joke away from being cancelled.
Yeah,
so
you're in good company then.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Hands, Ben. Come on.
Yeah, just hold hands.
Yeah, what is hold hands? No words need to be said, Gene. Exactly. We can just look at each other longingly.
Let's see here. Tiger Castle wrote in, said, "Hello, Ben, mother effing star. Also, hello to the summoning crew. Ben's outspoken love for Final Fantasy VIII over the years has been great. Finally, someone speaks the truth to the masses. Ben, please, would you explain to those who may not know why Final Fantasy VIII is the best Final Fantasy?"
Oh my, how long have you got?
Yeah.
I would say, it's difficult to really articulate. I still think if there is a moment, Final Fantasy is full of incredible moments. I think the end of Disc 1 of Final Fantasy VIII is one of the best set pieces in video games ever. I think it's really cool. I think it's an incredibly satisfying payoff and also cliffhanger at the same time. Nothing made me put the second disc in faster than that. I think it's really well paced. Many people don't think Final Fantasy VIII is well paced, but I really think that moment is. And I think a lot of people mistake my enthusiasm for 8 as me going, it's the best. It's just the one I love the most. It's that game that is so intrinsically linked to my personality. It's the game that I learned a lot of things. Video games are this amazing, have this amazing capacity to allow us to recontextualize the world in which we live. And at the time, I needed Final Fantasy VIII to do that. And so a lot of the things that I learned through that game. And if it had been 7, I imagine Final Fantasy 7 would have unlocked it, but it wasn't. It was Final Fantasy VIII, and it's become so much of who I am, and I thank it. Like, there's this moment that when I was on holiday with my dad, and he passed away. He was very much into like the thickest sci-fi and fantasy literature you could imagine. By his bed was everything you could possibly that was ever. He was just into it, and I always wanted to find ways of bonding with my dad. And playing Final Fantasy VIII, I felt was a way of bonding with him, because I was like, I too am experiencing a form of literature in that's deep and meaningful. And on holiday, I sat down with him. God bless him. He was drinking beer, and there's me just explaining beat by beat what's happening in Final Fantasy VIII, because I thought he's going to like this, because he likes really rich, deep storytelling. And it was a moment that I felt like I could connect with a person who I looked up to so much. And whatever that experience is, whatever Final Fantasy, whatever game it is that allows you to feel that, those are the moments that make video games completely worthwhile, and they're entirely yours. I will always champion 8, and I will always champion people to say, if you love it the most, love it. It's okay. If someone thinks 9's better, that's okay. Because 9 is an amazing video game.
Yeah.
As is 7, as is 6, as are all of them, And so just love it the way that you want to love it, and allow others to also love those games in the way that they love them. I feel like I don't speak enough about how much I love 12, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I think the Gambit system is so cool.
Love it.
I love a little tinker. And believe me, I spent hours and hours just tinkering with the perfect Gambit system. They're amazing. They all have their wonderful pros and cons, but 8 is just, that's my one.
My favorite thing about 12 is how the battle director says it's inspired by football, American football.
Yeah, it feels like that though, doesn't it?
Yeah, because you're just setting things up and you're just watching the play out, Mm-hmm. And then as the Final Fantasy coach, you feel like, oh yeah, it's all coming together, in this Gambit system. Especially
when you're fighting Yearsmat in that, the massive super boss in that game. That is, I was setting up Gambits where like it was doing damage to me, but it was actually healing me, because I'd found a way of like gaming the system. Mm-hmm. And you just needed everything to go right, and it's the dominoes lining up to make it. Mm-hmm. You're going, yeah, this machine works. I've created the ultimate team because, all of these things are in place.
Yeah. Dustin, do you have a Final Fantasy that kind of resonates with you like that?
Well, honestly, I have not played as many as you guys have, but probably Kingdom Hearts, maybe.
Close enough. Close enough.
It's funny. I'm joking, but I'm also slightly serious. Hearing Ben talk about the personal, the nostalgic moments, and for me, Kingdom Hearts is really that game where it's like when I was at E3, when Kingdom Hearts 3, not when it was revealed, but when they were starting to actually finally release it. I remember being there and being like, man, I think I'm going to shed a tear because I'm actually sitting in this audience watching a Kingdom Hearts trailer. But let's see, probably 7. I mean, I feel like it's such the typical answer, but I mean, both the original 7 and 7 Remake, which I grew up watching my uncle play 7. So it felt like I kind of got the experience, and it wasn't until 3 or 4 years ago that I finally played it myself. And yeah, I mean, it's peak for everyone. Everyone thinks it's the best, probably for a reason, but they are all great.
Yeah, they're all great.
Final Fantasy 6 fans are turning in their grave right now. Okay.
Yeah, they're Final Fantasy 6 fans. They're a little. They can be a little extra. Maybe someone who owns this company,
and we
love them. Yes.
Yeah,
we love them. Because it's the best one, Dustin. Obviously,
that's why. There we go.
You got one right here.
Are you a 6 fan?
Yeah, 6 is the one that really. I played all the way since 1 when it came out.
Yeah.
And I played 4. I loved 4. Cecil is just a goat. It's why when I saw Clive in 16, I was like, oh my God, it's Cecil again. We're returning to the Dark Knight era. This is great. But then when 6 came, it was just like a nuclear bomb in my head. I was like, wow, I did not know games could be like this. So.
There's something so bold about 6. I think, the world of Ruin cannot be underplayed with how important that is. I think it's the game where the villain wins.
Yeah.
And I think the storytelling is so fascinating, and it's not really scared to to investigate some really bad stuff. What happens if the heroes don't win? How do they react to that? How do they come back? It's a very, very cool game. And it's, daring storytelling that I really appreciate.
Yeah.
I have literally gotten into fights over Kefka versus Sephiroth. Because I would say, well, Kefka won though. Did Sephiroth win? No.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Well,
he didn't do it. He actually didn't do anything. He actually doesn't do anything in the game. You know that, right?
Well, yeah, I know I don't want to spoil it, but yes, he does stuff.
There's one really important thing that he did.
Well, but he doesn't technically do it himself, though. You know, that's the thing.
Yes.
You know? It's all mind projections and everything like that. It's like Kefka is like literally getting his hands dirty, poisoning the waters himself. You know,
right?
I think it's
I've literally been choked out by my friends because
I love that I love the fact that you want to sell that fight as well. It's like all villains can be mean in their own way, guys. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Since Dustin brought this up, I'm going to read this. This is from Kaina and Delaney. Howdy, Summoners. Holy moly, it's Ben Starr and LSM. I've been a big fan since Final Fantasy 16. My question is, if Clive were to appear in a Disney world in Kingdom Hearts 4, which world would he appear in? Love hearing the fellows talks games each week, and remember to accept the truth.
Wowee. Good question. Before I answer, has anyone got any ideas themselves where they think he might end up? Yes,
I have a logical question. All the Final Fantasy characters are pretty much from a world in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Which is Hollow Bastion. But that's no fun.
Mm-hmm.
I would like him to show up in a world randomly.
Yeah. I'd like him to be in the same way that he's isekai'd into Tekken. I'd love him to just be like, why am I here?
Yes.
What's going on?
Star Wars? Put him in there.
I feel like Snow White, and Snow White's not there, and he's with the seven dwarves.
I do like that. That's
and
good.
He's just like, lads, we've got to get this mine going. We've really got to make some money here, guys. I feel like you're not making enough money out of this mine.
Yeah, Clive knows the slavery system anyways really well, so he can implement it there.
Exactly, but he's really he's like freeing them. It's like if you do what you want, you can really kind of capitalism works, guys, and it's kind of like Roller Coaster Tycoon, but it's like we're starting a mine, and Snow White's not there; she's somewhere else, and they create a really lovely system where everyone feels equal, everyone gets equal pay. You know, it's a really it's a bizarre utopia that he's set up, and it's not Kingdom Hearts 4. It's an entire separate DLC that is just a management simulator in a mine.
Dude, I'd play that. That'd be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I want him too. It's experimentation for Clive with a party, right?
Yeah.
Seven Dwarves, right?
Yeah. Maybe it's also that, and like every now and again the mine is attacked, and then you have to fight with him.
Really I want Clive in the glass coffin at the end, though. And he's got to get waken up by Love's True Kiss, and it's Goofy or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he's into it. I definitely think Goofy has to be involved somehow.
Yeah. I want to see a conversation with Clive and Goofy where he's like, hey, Clive.
Goofy, you're back again.
Nice shirt. Yeah, or something.
Well, here's the thing, though. Kingdom Hearts needs to have Clive in it to finally complete the Zeta Flare circle.
I know. We've got to.
Donald,
we need to finally finish the argument of, never mind Kefka versus Sephiroth, the schoolyard argument of the ages, right?
Yeah.
It's Donald Duck versus Clive at this point. Honestly, it really is.
Yeah,
in terms of power scaling.
Who's more powerful?
There's no other people like stronger than either of those guys, you know? So
yeah.
I need this to happen. I mean, immediately.
Fight to the death. I'll do that.
But I would argue that Donald Duck is still stronger because Clive needs Joshua, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. He's not complete without his brother, and that's the most important thing. Is friendship and a strong relationship with your siblings is the ultimate power at the end of the day.
That's right. All right, let's talk about what we're playing. Actually, we're going to start with Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Surprise, Ben's in this game. Just in case any of you didn't know that.
I am.
I haven't gotten to you yet. I'm actually not very far in the game. I just started yesterday, but it's very good. So I'm going to hold back. I'm going to let you guys kind of handle most of it. Dustin, you're probably the second farthest behind. Let's start with you.
Sure. So yeah, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. What's funny about this game leading up to it, and we said this on Sacred Symbols a few times. I mean, since the first reveal, we're like, wow, this game looks so good that it's concerning. Like we were like, man, how is this game small dev team, new dev team? It's like, man, even leading up a few weeks ago, because someone asked us like, what's the gut check on this game? I'm like, it looks amazing, but there's something in me that's like, man, something's gonna be wrong because something doesn't add up. Well, it's awesome. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Well, there's maybe a few things I would change, but yeah, it's funny right now where clearly the conversation people are obsessed with this game, and for every reason they should be, because it is absolutely incredible. Before I talk about the game a little bit, I got to say I am playing with the French voice actors. I heard the English voice actors weren't very good.
Thank you.
In fact, even they introduced a character that they wanted to sound exactly like Clive later in the game.
Yeah.
Like some ripoff. So I thought, no, maybe it's AI or something.
Me too. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I am playing. I'm playing with the English voice actors, and this game, it's weird. Not weird, but I am such a huge Persona JRPG fan, and so clearly that DNA is all over this game. And Gene, you and I had a conversation. I think it was last week, where you said, like, man, I actually think that this is in a lot of ways better. And that's almost like a thing that's hard to believe for someone like me. Let's hear someone say that. But now that I've played it, I'm like, oh yeah, actually, there are a lot of things here that are even better, I think, than Persona Combat. But the thing that's, I guess I generally just said it's good, but what's surprising to me is how like almost every element of this game is impressing me, where it's like, man, the visuals and the art direction are awesome. Where there's been a few points where I've been playing and my wife, Holly, I'll be like, look at this. This is like 30 people made this. How's that possible? Also, whoever did the music in this game, they cooked. And it's not just like, what's that?
Lorien Testard.
Wow. Yeah. Amazing work, where it's interesting. There's points where it like reminds me of Nier in a lot of ways, which is awesome because that's one of my favorite soundtracks ever and favorite games ever. And there's, shockingly, as you go through the game, significantly more variety in the soundtrack as well, where, no spoilers, but there was a song last night where I was like, what the fuck is this? Where it's just a total curveball, but works really well. But yeah, it's a JRPG where, I don't know, I guess we don't need to explain the story at all. But I just, I'm really shocked by it. And it's one of those games that I am so invested in the story that it's kind of hindering itself, where I'm like, man, I should go explore this area, do some side quests, but I don't want to. Especially where I left off last night, which was about midway through Act 2 for Gene and Ben. Very climactic things happen there that I'm like, holy shit. So my only, I think, I don't know if it's a big criticism, it's just something that I find annoying, is that there were points where I wish I had a mini map exploring around. It's kind of a give and take, where I'm like, I like not having it, but there's points where I'm trying to clear parts that I'm like, have I been here before? And then there's things I've definitely missed where I'm like, if I had a map, I might have seen that. But I guess the last thing I'll say that I've really been enjoying is, so it is a turn-based combat, but there's tons of quick time reactions and like almost like rhythmic dodging and parrying. And so I think someone described it as like like Persona plus Sekiro, and I was like, that sounds insane. But now that I've started playing it, at first, it's not that I didn't get it, but I was really frustrated because I was trying to parry everything. Before the audience slays me in the comments, where it reminds me of Dark Souls because there's a lot of boss fights where I go in and I get completely trashed, like the first or second run. But it's about learning the patterns. And then when, like, most of the times where I'll get trashed a few times, and then when I actually do beat that boss, it's like a major victory where at the end I'm like, yeah, I fucking destroyed on that. And it feels super satisfying because it's like I put the effort into figuring out those patterns and then learning them and getting them right. So yeah, right now I'm about halfway through the game, and I am sad that I'm recording 2 podcasts today because it means I have less time to play it.
I'm so sorry you have to hang out with me, Dustin. I
know.
So sorry.
I have to spend time with Ben Starr, instead of playing the game. So but yeah, it's fucking awesome. I guess in general, if that's my quick overview thoughts.
Yeah. Gene, you finished the game. Talk to us, man. You've had quite a bit of time with it.
Yeah, I finished it, gave it a 3.5 star review out of 4 stars. I actually kind of want to revise it now. I kind of want to do my first ever revision and just give it a solid 4 stars, because the more I get away from the game, the more I tend to love it. And I think the comparison to Nier Automata is apt in that it's not like perfect game design wise, but like it all thematically comes together so beautifully that it's hard. And then, just the way it all, like the story just comes together, was just tremendous. I was just so impressed. I will say, I did not realize, I really didn't. I saw the first trailer at the Xbox and I was like, oh, I'm in. This is like, right. I don't need to see it anymore. Like immediately from the first trailer, I got it, right. I did not know that Ben was not the first main character of the story. So when Gustav, there's no spoilers, but when Gustav starts talking, which is of course by the talented Charlie Cox, I was like, wow, Ben's really like improved his voice acting. He's
got better. He's got really good.
Yeah, he's gotten so good now. He sounds so different, and I was like, oh wait, this is not him at all. And of course, when Ben's character comes up, I start saying the same thing. I was like, "Oh, Ben gotten really good now," So. But like, Ben does a tremendous job as his character Verso. No spoilers about who Verso is and his role in the game. They intentionally hide a lot of things about the different characters, including the role of Andy Serkis and everything like that. And that's all for everyone to discover what's going on. But I really, really love this game's combat system. It's like what Ben said earlier about, the FF12 Gambit system, and just feeling like, I put this all together and I'm seeing the plan work out. When you're playing with things where it's like, oh, I'm actually attacking myself, but I'm healing myself, right? Like that's what you can do at the end of Expedition 33, where you're actually cursing your entire party so they can do more damage. Or you're intentionally sacrificing certain characters so they can cast their deaths can cast other buffs on other characters. So then you can get to that 427 million or 500 million damage point. I love that. Listeners of our podcast know that I've been obsessed with Xenoblade Chronicles X for the last few months, right? And I love that game because that's a game where you can get 99 million hit points off an enemy, right? Because the buildability of the characters are just so flexible. That's the one thing I did not expect from Expedition 33. I did not expect Expedition 33 to have such a deep RPG system where it's, you get something called Pictos, which is accessories. And the cool thing, though, is that when each character can only equip 3 of these accessories, right? And each accessory will have a certain thing like, we'll just go basic for now. 50% of 50% up base attack damage, right? Or 75% more counter attack damage or whatever, right? If you equip those and have only 4 fights, then the entire party will have the ability to just equip that accessory's ability into their own system. So it's very, very easy. It deeply reminds me of the Materia system, right? Where you're playing and you're learning fire, and then now she can just learn fire and equip it, whatever. Or maybe not Materia, maybe it was like FF6 actually, where it's like you equip the Esper.
Yeah, Esper system, yeah.
Right, the Esper system, right? Where you're able to kind of just permanently have that ability. So now, by my end game builds, like all my characters can attack 4 times in a row. You know,
Ooh, that's cool.
they can do the base attack 4 times in a row, and they can attack 2 times in a row every single time. You know, and they're doing like 1,000,000 points of damage like each time. It's crazy how much fun this is. And it's really, you know, as I mentioned earlier, I beat the super boss, and it, you know, all of that stuff is really, really important to actually getting to understand this stuff.
Yeah.
And I do think the comparison to Sekiro and Dark Souls is apt, especially with that super boss and some of the harder bosses. Not even just the super boss, but just some of the later fights, where you need to lock in and you need to dodge. You know, there's going to be 10 hit string combos. There's going to be long combos in the, you know, towards the end, where you're just going to have to like really like pay attention to the animations. So this game really, really forces you to understand the enemy moveset in a way that a lot of other RPGs don't really do, because you're not actively trying to look out for the frames of animation and you're like, oh, this is the move now, you know. Like it's going to be like a 3 count, 1, 2, 3, parry, you know. So there's so much engagement in the combat system that I'm just never bored, and that's just to me like the 10 out of 10 thing about this game. I couldn't believe how well designed it was.
Yeah.
My one criticism isn't that big of a criticism, but it's kind of PTSD. I hate the platforming in this game.
I've seen people say that.
Yeah, it's only because it reminds me of the infamous Piteous dungeon in Final Fantasy 15. Most of the platforming,
real ones know about that dungeon right now.
Yes, real ones know about that dungeon.
How long did we spend in there? I'm going to do it for sure.
It's a 2-hour dungeon with no combat and only terrible platforming using the FF15 platforming jumping system. It's crazy, and you get some of the best gear at the end. But there's like almost no way to skip around it. You know, there's like one bug that you can kind of like do it, and that's also kind of hard to do.
Also, my memory isn't that great, but isn't like when you get it, it's just like a couple of shelves above where you enter, and like and that kind of tricks you. Where actually you could have just jumped up and got it, and I'm like, I swear to God,
if you just had like a triple jump or something, and then that's what you do it. Like you kind of trick the game into like making yourself do a triple jump, and you can just get it right there.
Yeah,
it just made me so mad. I was like, oh my God! But you get the Black Hood, which is like permanent counterattacks for and the Genji gloves and everything that's too. So you need that
Genji
stuff.
gloves, a classic.
So, you know, Expedition 33 has better platformer controls, and I was able to beat a lot of them, right? And they're like a fun distraction, and they're not like a main part of the game. But, you know, that's my only criticism, is that like I wonder if they could just design, you know, I'm not a fan of like ledge shimmying and like ledge climbing. That's like in every game now, you know, God of War, Uncharted. So it's like, I wish they kind of figure out some other way to traverse. You know, of course, the grappling hook is a lot of fun, and you know, I kind of wish they kind of lean into that a little bit more, as opposed to, well, here's where you let shimmy. And it's like, you know, it's nice and snappy. Thankfully, on Expedition 33, it doesn't waste a lot of time. So that's why it's like and ultimately didn't really become a huge complaint for me. And there's some of the writing that gets confusing later on, but you know, that's hard to talk about without talking about the complete details of the story. So
yeah, we can get into that in the future.
Exactly, yeah. But I do think that it all ends beautifully. I was like, wow, the ending is like they really nailed it. I couldn't believe it. So, and like the farther I get away from the ending and the themes of the story, the more I just love it. It has so many cool surprises. As Dustin already knows, he's already experienced some of them, you know. So
yeah,
really great game. I can't recommend this more enough. And this is a JRPG through and through. Oh, another complaint: the world map music is too sad. It could be a little bit more adventurous, especially like coming out, and like the first time you see it, it sounds like, you know, like a funeral song, you know, and it's like, no, we're little guys out in an adventure. It could be a little happier.
Gene, it's a dying world. It's a dying world. What do you want to celebrate? Death, Gene? You obsessed with death?
Yeah, I was hoping for something like that, you know, like we're on an adventure now. This is a JRPG. You know?
I have a video on my phone, which Guillaume sent me like a year ago when he first revealed the overworld map, because I hadn't seen it. And it's got Blue Fields from Final Fantasy VIII on it. And then when you fly in SK8, it's the Ragnarok music as well. It was very, very cool.
Yeah,
I would say the Blue Fields music from Final Fantasy VIII is quite melancholic as well. But I do know what you mean. It's this sense of like you want that forward thrust when you're on the overworld to be like, where are we going next, guys?
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly it. And then the first song is just like, oh, everyone's dead.
Just say you hate the game, Gene. God. God.
I mean, that's the thing, though. It's very melancholic and it's very sad. And you have to kind of understand that. And then I started thinking, I was like, wait, well, Nier Automata is like my favorite story in video games. And that is a sad-ass game, too. Like it is oppressively sad. So it's like, I have to like realize like, oh, I think I actually like these sad-ass games, So
I love a sad-ass game.
It can be good. Yeah.
That's the thing. Gene, you mentioned again like a week ago, you're like, it's just really sad. And I'm like, and now that I'm playing, I'm like, yes, this is exactly I could see it not being for everybody for that reason, where like this game just constantly assaults you with grief and sadness. And I don't know, it feels good for me right now. Obviously it's been tough year for me for other reasons, but sometimes it's weird, like when you're in that zone and then it's like, this speaks to exactly where I am right now, so I love that aspect of it. It is funny because there's the sad music or the the more melancholic music on the overworld, and then the marshmallow guy, what's his name? SK, dude, he's like, I'm going fast now. Like he says all these cute, funny things. It's awesome.
He's voiced by Max Ons, who is the mocap actor for Gustav and Versa. So,
no kidding.
Yeah,
that's
really
cool.
Wow, he's so talented. That's amazing.
So good. He's a really, really talented actor and a lovely, lovely guy. And he's contributed. This game is a team effort. And it was created by 30 people because everyone chipped in where they could. And obviously that was outsourcing as well. Other people made it, but like the dev team is 30 people. And I think it's kind of crazy what they've managed to achieve in that time. And I know I'm a little bit biased, but I think there is also, for people who haven't played it and they're like, am I going to get assaulted with sadness the whole time? Yes. But there is a joy in certain aspects. Like you've seen the memes going around that this is fine or this is just a trash can, and there's a playfulness and a whimsy at times to it. And when there are moments of joy, it makes those moments of sadness hit even harder because you kind of see what world has been lost. And it's fascinating because we're meeting this world, a number of years into what is essentially a methodically degrading world. And when you first meet these characters, you're like, oh my God, you're used to this. The normality of death is so strange. And yet they still manage to make those moments of death count and mean something. And it's a really, like I was in a game that contemplates grief. Final Fantasy 16 is all about grief. Expedition 33 is in a completely different way. And I think you're right, Dustin, like it isn't for everyone. And that's why it's so good, because they're not trying to make it for everyone. They're going, we want to make this game that says this exact thing, and we're not willing to compromise on that. And I think that's why so many people are resonating with it, because it's just very pure. It's like, this is what we want to say. And if you don't like it, that's totally fine. But please come on this journey with us. We promise you'll get something out of it. And I've always, in the lead up to this, I've had a lot of people come up to me and say how excited they are about the game. I've always tried to temper that excitement because I've always at every single point understood what Guillaume's vision for this game has been, which is exactly what he wanted it to be. And I was worried that other people would try and shape it into something that it isn't. And I think what's so amazing about the response is that apparently a lot of people want this game right now. They want to experience that. And, if you're not ready for it, go and put it away. It's not going anywhere. Come back and experience it at a time where you are ready, because I think it can hit you in the right way. There is joy to be had, but I think there is also something really beautifully reflective about the ways in which these characters, every single one of them in this party, explore grief and how they deal with it. It's some of the character writing in this, I think, is so light and so deft, and it doesn't ask you to. It doesn't go like, oh, we're gonna explain with deep exposition. It's going, this is how I'm feeling right now, and then it allows those moments of pause, and then another person kind of deals with grief in different ways because people, they've all experienced death before. Every single one of them has had a loved one already die. So what happens next? It's super interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm glad, Dustin, you also mentioned SK too, and Ben mentioning the other joy in the character writing, because SK is a wonderful, wonderful character. I call him French Totoro. He's basically a French Totoro. He's lovable. He can do all kinds of things. He's, you know, and you know, this is not a spoiler. The Xbox, you know, the developers have talked about this, but he is like essentially probably the most powerful character in this world, but he's lazy, so he doesn't do anything, you know, which is so funny. Like that, there's a real lightness and humor in that. Like the most powerful person in the world won't fight because he just doesn't feel like it, you know.
He's too irresponsible with his rocks.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just so
always
silly.
The rocks, you know.
It's so silly. Also, a shout out to Rich Keeble, who plays Minoko. I think Minoko is a character that you meet, that you gain in the party. Again, this is not a spoiler. This is very much part of the press leading up to it. They've had character things, and Minoko is you know, he can turn into other monsters by eating their feet. Also, this game is Blue Mage, very much so. He's very much catering to the foot community. If you're a fan of Loon, you know, I'm just saying,
that's true. That's true.
If you're into feet, Luna, I'm adoring the obsession with Luna. I think Kirsty is so good in this game as Luna. I think she brings this kind of incredibly centered humanity to her performance, and it's really, really good stuff. But also Luna, just I would die for her.
Yeah. One thing about the character writing, I wasn't as impressed with it at first. And then I slowed down and I started having the conversations at the campfire. That is when you really, really get to understand how deep these characters go. You understand their motivations, but you understand their little ticks and their little, like, you know, like what makes them tick, what keeps them going, how they interact with the other characters. That was what really won me over. And I was like, oh, Lune and all these other characters are actually quite wonderful. I just need to slow down and get to know them. And there is a relationship building aspect to it with social links and everything like that, which I thought was very clever and cute. And even in a gameplay sense, they're extremely rewarding. You know, you want to do these, you want to have these conversations, even just for a pure gameplay standpoint. They even thought about that. You know, I'm only doing that now because, you know, I've only started to discover this because you get some of the best like abilities by unlocking all these relationships, you know. So don't sleep on the campfire conversations. They're wonderful. There was another game that came out that had a similar mechanic, and I feel like they really, you know, they kind of dropped the ball in terms of like what character interaction can be in a calm, intimate setting like this. And again, you know, like we keep saying, oh my God, this is a team of 30, but like a team of 30 was able to write and create all these wonderful cinematics and scenes around the campfire that just kind of blow everything else away. So
when push comes to shove, this game is good because it plays well. Like it's just a really fun game to play. And sometimes you can see games which you really appreciate the narrative or the music, but they forget to put the game in. You go, this would be a really good game if there was a game in here. And the moment-to-moment gameplay is really satisfying. And Guillaume was a creative director, was a Sekiro speedrunner. So that's why there's so much DNA.
That makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Like that just like slid a puzzle piece in my brain. Like, okay, I got it.
He's so passionate about this, and it's not patronizing. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of them because they've just gone, let's make a thing that we really like. We really like this. And what if I took turn-based combat, which I really love, and shoved some Sekiro in there, and here we have this game that people are really appreciating. And hopefully more people will play more turn-based games. Hopefully people will go, what's next? I'm like, I don't know. How long you got? There's loads of them out there. And there's loads of them that come out recently as well. So play those. So hopefully, you know, it's a new way in for people.
Yeah. Also, like just the impact feeling, like every time you do a counterattack feels so good. And that is immediate from like hour one, like not even hour one, like minute one, you know. It's like, oh, that counterattack felt good. And then when you start doing team counterattacks, you feel like the Avengers or something, you know. It's just like it just leaves a big old boom, boom, and then you do jump counterattacks. So good. The game never stops feeling great.
I'd also love to just, because I'm on here. I know I'm on here talking about the game. I don't think it can be understated how good Jennifer English is in this game.
Oh yeah.
I think she is the heart and soul of this. I mean, everyone's wonderful, but Jen's performance is really magical. And obviously she was Shadowheart in Baldur's Gate. You know, everyone knows that. But there is something so beautiful about this. And I really hope that when we're talking about this game, we remember Jen's performance as Mael, because I think it's a really, really beautiful performance. And
Mael is an incredible character.
Yeah.
As soon as Mael entered the scene, I was like, oh, this is interesting. This character is interesting. And it just never stopped all the way up until the end. I couldn't believe how cool Mael was.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't understate how cool this character is. I can't. Like one of my favorite RPG characters now of all time.
And what she goes through is amazing. And again, realized because of the storytelling, but also just Jen's performance, I think is so special.
Mm-hmm.
But also you, Ben, with Verso, you know, and I know we can't talk about Verso that much, but you know, like from, you know, and when I try to place Verso in an archetype, I'm like, I really can't. Like, he's a hard character to explain, even after I understand his whole story. You know,
it's a very
complicated character.
It's super complicated. I think it's before I was officially cast as Verso, I auditioned to voice this character in a trailer, to audition the character of Verso narrating this trailer, which was the trailer that you saw at the Xbox showcase. Mm-hmm. And I got this part, and I don't think that they knew at the time. They thought it was just going to be, you know, a narration, but it just happened to be me who got the role of the.
She will never paint again. Right?
She will never paint again. Yeah, but at that point, they weren't really sure whether they were going to use the character that they cast as Verso to play Verso. And then I started talking to the team, and they realized who I was and how much I loved Final Fantasy and how much I loved RPGs, and we started talking, and then they brought me back in to kind of practice some of to learn some of the techniques that they might be using in order to you know do the VO for this game, because they were going to be bringing actors in to do this, and they were going to do it on the top of already pre-existing mocap, and they had to figure out the process of how this was going to work. And they brought me in because a lot of the things that they were using on Expedition was a lot of the stuff that I'd done on Final Fantasy 16 up to that point. So they were like, we'll get Ben in and we'll learn the ropes. So they called me in for a couple of sessions, and I played everyone. There's Monoko out there, but there was also like some scenes from Verso, and I was like, who is this guy? Because if he's this person and this person, that's wild. What happened to him in that period of time? And I think there is this really interesting diversity to the way he is written that is so rich and rewarding. And I don't think I'll get to play a character like him again, because I don't think they'll write a character like him again. And I'm really proud that coming off the back of a game that means so much to me and a character that has influenced my life so massively, that I get to play a character that takes a lot of those archetypes maybe and inverts them or changes them in a way that you wouldn't necessarily understand. And also I get to act alongside, not that I didn't in Final Fantasy 16, but I get to act alongside some outstanding performances, dude.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, you against Andy Serkis, you know, and Jennifer English. It's amazing.
It's a thing. Yeah. It's wild hearing Andy as well. I just was like, oh my god, that's so crazy.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I didn't bring this up, but
the character's so great. Anyways,
I wanted to say I finished Kazan also, and really stacked cast in that game as well. I was like very surprised who was in that game. I was like, oh. Yeah, it's very nice to hear some surprises, like you said, like Shadowheart, and Dion was also there. I'm like, oh, a little 16 reunion right here. This is great.
Yeah. I love him. Yeah.
In Kazan, we've got loads of them. Yeah. So Stuart's in there. David Menken's in there. He plays Barnabas. Like it was just me. It was just me killing the icons again, just going through and just bashing them to death. But Kazan's cool. I'm so happy.
It was a sick game. It was hard, but it was awesome.
It's hard as hell. It's hard as hell. And what a cool career to be able to be in two technical RPGs that feel very different. Kazan was a hell of a lot of fun. Anthony Howell, shout out to Anthony Howell, who plays Blade Phantom. That's the voice of Margit from Elden Ring. He's an amazing actor. Yeah, well, I'm really pleased how that game was received. The team worked really, really, really hard on it, and I know they're really pleased with the general reaction to it.
Yeah, it's really good. I want to read this from Tom Gentry. Question for Ben. How was it working with the French team on an overly French project? Did the Englishman inside of you ever feel repulsed by the baguettes, mimes, and other French debauchery? I mostly kid, but I would love to hear how the culture of working with a small French studio impacted your experiences as compared to working with larger international publishers.
Physical presence.
I like the clip that they sent out where you're struggling with the French accents. That was really good.
Yeah, I was guys, it cannot be understated how bad I was. It's the size and the proximity. Like, they were in every single session. So they would just get the plane from Montpellier. And then come for a couple of weeks and work with us every single day, take us out for dinner. They were hands-on, and it really shows. There were certain scenes that I got really nervous in because Guillaume, there's one in particular towards the end of the game, and Guillaume said to me, "This is my favorite scene. Don't screw it up." And I was like, "Okay, oh God,
wow." I want you to DM me which scene that was.
I will do. Yeah. And it was great because he, by saying that, as much as there was pressure, I was like, okay, I know what he wants. I know exactly how he wants to execute this. And yeah, super French. They're super French and super beautiful. But I mean, Jen's not French, but right. There is such an honest DNA of that in this game, and they wanted to keep that, and they decided that nearly all of the swear words were going to be in French. And it just feels really honest. It's like, why try and be a thing that you're not? You know, why not lean into the thing that you know the best? And I think it's been amazing to see how well received it's been by the French press as well. And the fact that lots of people complain that they didn't have French voices. You don't have to, like, you know, Dustin joked, you don't have to play it with our voices. Go and play it with the incredible stacked French cast. It's awesome. And the Baguette trailer, if you haven't seen it, is an amazing version of the character of the cast reveal trailer, where everyone obviously wears the Baguette outfit. But
I have played, no joke, I have played the French dub, and it's really, really good. My only problem is that the lip sync isn't quite there yet. But you know, but you just have, you know, it Ghost of Tsushima is a AAA game, and they didn't even have lip sync for Japanese on launch. So,
yeah, at the start, I remember that.
So you know, like, it's not even a big deal. But the dub itself is quality. Every actor sounds amazing. So
I think there can sometimes be stuff. Again, my experience on Final Fantasy 16 was incredible. I was so close to the team, and I had my closest friends and colleagues who became really close friends. Like, they'll be at my wedding in the next couple of months. They're so important to me, and I have this amazing trust in the 16 team. But that was born over 4.5 years of work. I think when you come onto a project, certainly actors sometimes in the UK are very much seen as post-production. You know, we come in at the last minute. We're very much additional to what's already been done. Expedition 33 felt like we were part of the core team from the very, very, even though we were coming on relatively late, they wanted us to care. They wanted us to care as much as they did. So they did everything they possibly could to include us. Jen and I would do scenes together, and then they would send us essentially what was, the rushes of the day almost, and say, look what we've kind of cobbled together. Have a look at this. This is the work that you're doing. This is what you're contributing to the team. There are Google Docs of like half created scenes with mine and Jen's work, or with Rich's work, or, Charlie's work, or whatever, put together and going, this is what you're contributing to this process. Please love it the way that we love it. And they engendered this real sense of camaraderie through the whole thing. They're just awesome people. And I just couldn't be happier with how well this game is being received for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me read this from Ronnie Barrier. Hello, fellow summoners. Having blazed through Expedition 33, I can confidently say it is one of my all-time favorite RPGs, and I'm getting a tattoo in celebration. Any specific suggestions? My current thought is just the 33 armband badge that I would eventually turn into a full band. but I also love the image of the monolith with the paintress curled up underneath. My alternate idea is just a tattoo of Ben's face over my face so that my wife will finally find me attractive. All right. Tattoo ideas for Ronnie here. What do you think, Ben?
Gene's face over my face,
okay, yeah.
over your face.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be the real Clair Obscur, you know.
Yeah.
The light and the dark, you know.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Like, what's I think the 33's really. I mean, I think the logo is hot as hell. The art direction of this game is absolutely crazy. I don't know what's like there are things I want to say, but I don't really want to ruin the game. There are some images that I think could be really beautifully tattooed.
Yeah.
Could be a walking spoiler with that tattoo for anyone.
Yeah.
Walking spoiler. Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah. Get a little chibi Esquier or something. Just
like
a really cute little Esquier.
Esquier is iconic, honestly. Like immediately, I love Esquier so much. My God,
that's a good one.
Yeah, French Totoro. I say that with all the love that could possibly have. You know.
Yeah. I'm not as far as you guys in this game, but I just want to say I've played like 4 hours, I want to say, and it's very good.
You're not even at the good part. You know what annoys me about the discourse real quick is that like everyone's like, oh my God, this game is great. It's like you played only the tutorial. You don't even understand the combat system yet, guys.
Well,
wait a second.
It's been good because I've kind of blocked everyone out and I'm just kind of experiencing it on my own, which is, in my opinion, the best way to go into these kind of games. I don't want people being like, well, just wait till you get to Act 2. Like, I don't want to fucking know that kind of stuff. I just want to go in organically. And the combat is really good. I do like the jump counter a lot. I think it's really fun, especially when you can do the counterattack. Now that you said the creative director was a Sekiro speedrunner, Gene said it kind of was like the puzzle piece. I'm like, oh yeah, it all is kind of making sense now because it doesn't matter how good or good of an idea that system would be unless if it didn't feel good. But it feels really good so far. So I'm like, okay, good job. The stats are kind of throwing me off in some way because you can give your character like stats like vitality, whatever, strength or stuff like that. And it's interesting because depending on the weapon you have that can increase it, like the scales with vitality and stuff like that. But also those pictos, I think that's what they're called, right? They have like stats on them as well. So I'm like, okay, well, if I use all these pictos, I'll get a lot more speed or something like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm like already kind of thinking in my brain. It reminds me of like a card game, almost like setting up all these specific things. I think you guys kind of touched on this earlier. Like setting up your plays for the future seems like a big part of this game right now. And I'm really into that so far. And like you guys said, I've only scratched, like I just got out of the water area pretty much. That's where I'm at right now. So I'm still very early in the game. So I could like upgrade a weapon now, I suppose, like that. But I'm like, there is a lot here right now, but I think they introduce it at a pretty good pace where I don't feel overwhelmed necessarily.
They do.
So far, very good. It is a very sad game, but I'm fine with that. Like you're saying, Ben, they are very unapologetic what they want to convey with the game, and I think that's the right way to go with your games. Honestly, it's paying off.
Just let games be the thing that they want to be. I think there's this need to sometimes to cater to as many people as possible. It's like, how about you just kind of cater to the few, you know, and see if the few can become the many, because you can teach them different ways of experiencing that media. I think there's this need to almost like through an algorithm go, we need everyone to love this. And I'm like, you know what? The great games, the great literature, the great films and pieces of music in our time are unapologetically themselves. Yeah. So let them be that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where I'm kind of at with Marathon, which Ben, you voiced that short film.
I have contributed to that video game. Yes.
Yeah. So another video game where it's like,
who am I?
Like I got mad. I'm sorry, Ben. Go ahead.
No, they said, who am I? A mysterious voice. Who could I be?
Who knows? I have no idea. But but like, you know, I got aggravated with Bungie because it's like, oh man, you know, extraction shooters are not for me. And I listened to myself, and it's like, but that should be a good thing that this studio is not making a game for everyone, you know. So I have to give, you know, whatever Marathon's going through, I do admire Bungie's decision to just make a game that they want to make first, you know. So.
Well, I think with you know, again, I don't make Marathon, but I have contributed to some of the stuff that they've been involved in, and I think that Bungie are best when they listen to their community and they work in harmony with the people they're making the game for. And I think it's a real testament to the team where they're going, right, okay, this alpha, you don't have to sign an NDA. You can play it, and we're going to go, this is the game. We're not going to hide anything from you, and we're going to work with you to make sure that, you know, when this launches, we're giving you a version of this game that we're happy with, and then we will continue to work with you to give you the version of this game that you want. I recognize that the argument is, if you're paying money up front for it, you know, we shouldn't be experimented on. That's not my position to say anything about that, but I hope that they can take the you know, the advice of the people who play that game and trust their community to create something that is going to be, you know, a really decent long-term investment for you, the player, as well as, you know, them.
Yeah. I can't wait to play it personally. I think it sounds really cool. I think I'm just going to wait till it's finally out to give it a go. But our coworker, Chris, has been playing it a lot. And I think he's talking about how much he's addicted to it now. So, and he's a big Bungie fan, like a huge Bungie fan. So there's got to be something there.
I will, even if you have no interest in it, please go and watch the 8-minute short film by Alberto Mielko. I could not believe that I got to work on that. Like, that was absolutely crazy. So yeah, it's has it got anything to do with the game? I don't know, but it looks cool as hell. Sounds incredible. And I recite some Percy Shelley for you. So
yes,
enjoy that. If you like some ASMR, then I'll give it to you.
Yeah. All right, let's move on from Clair Obscur Expedition 33. We'll talk about more in the future, of course. But I wanted to talk about this. I was planning on talking about it later just because we have time. But you mentioned that you're playing it. So we're going to talk about it. Blueprints.
Yeah.
Because you played this, Ben. Dustin, you played this. I have not touched this game at all. I definitely want to get to it. But I know people are hyped about it. Ben, let's start with you. How's Blueprints been?
Blueprints is my life. I know only Blueprints and my little book in which I write insane ramblings. Started playing it on PlayStation, and then I was traveling, so I stopped and took all of my learnings from the PlayStation and took them to my Steam Deck. And man, it's cool. It giveth, it taketh away. It is a beautiful, cruel mistress. I really, really enjoy it. Again, not a game for everyone. It's just, you want to build a house, you want to get to the antechamber, you want to kind of feel like you know nothing and then at the same time know everything. It's really, really good. I will say I hate keys. I've never hated keys more. I'm being really vague. I'm not really telling you what the game is. The game is a game where you just have to, you inherit this house and for some reason the house shifts every single day. And you have to build rooms as you go. Every time you go through a different room, you have the opportunity to choose what you would like, whether it be a nook, a kitchen, and each one kind of gives you different perks. And you have, you will get things that are randomly generated, and certain rooms will reveal different things. And they, the more you go on, the more you will learn about the history of this house and ultimately what your goal is within it. And there is a huge amount of diverse ways to play the game and to achieve the thing that you need to achieve. And it is a really, really amazing video game and a real surprise. And I believe alongside Expedition 33, it's the highest rated game of the year. And quite rightly so. What an honor to share that with a game that I am so deeply in love with. And it's been really great seeing the industry. Certainly a lot of the colleagues that I know just get really into it. I've discovered certain things. My friends have discovered certain things. We're sharing information. We're trying to be vague about what we know and what we don't know. I'm trying to be vague here so I don't ruin stuff for you. But go in, get obsessed. And a 10-hour flight to Dallas went very, very quickly.
Yeah, Dustin, what you talk about? I know you've talked about it on Sacred, but we haven't talked about it on the show yet.
Right. Well, Ben's right. This game it can feel cruel often. In fact, it's one of those games that will either make you feel like you're the smartest person that has ever lived or the absolute dumbest person of all time. And it vacillates between those two beautifully, where, there's times where I'm like, man. So Ben, I'm playing with my wife, Holly, which has been an awesome experience because I'm the one with the controller, but she's the one writing the insane ramblings. And it's funny, when we started, she just got like a single piece of like computer paper, and she was writing on that, and then the backside's full, and now there's like 3 full pages. And there's been a couple times where I'm like, well, what was that again? And she's like, hold on. She has to like flip through, and she's like turning the paper upside down, trying to find where like we had written this thing down. And it's funny that when I've been talking about it on Sacred, I'm sure for the audience maybe a little confusing, because initially I had a lot more criticism about I guess the difficulty / the RNG situation, where you're like, I'm trying to achieve this specific goal, and every time I do it, I just don't get the situation I need. Like, I don't get the rooms or whatever. And between weeks, I discovered that like that's really probably not that it's not the intended, but you slowly start to realize like, oh, well, I can do this way, or I didn't realize this was here, and this changes my strategy completely. Or if I'm in this situation, I can do this. And I think people said this about The Witness, but I think it kind of applies here, where there are, of course, things that you upgrade that are permanent, but it is almost like a Metroidvania in your mind, where you start to, once you unlock the knowledge on how to do something, then that becomes a permanent increase on what you can do in the game that was there technically from the beginning. In fact, there's speed run. This is a trophy, not a spoiler, but there's people that the point of the game is to reach room 46. That's in the trailer. People are getting to room 46 on the very first day. So that just goes to show like the mechanics are there and you can achieve that, but it's not until you play the game enough to learn that. And that's why it's important for when we talk about this game to be so vague about it, because that rewarding nature is through the discovery of the game. And
otherwise it's quite easy. Actually,
right?
Like, if you know the tricks,
once you know the safe codes or the whatever thing, you can just cheese your way through a lot of it. But actually, it's very good. It's keys. But it's very good. It's very, because you think you're nailing a run. You think you're nailing a run, and then suddenly you go, I don't have enough keys, and all the rooms are locked. But if you know other ways of gaming that system, you can get around it. Sorry, I interrupted you. I feel like you were
no.
But like, please. The way I've benefited from it is thinking that, well, I'm going to complete the game this way, and then actually realize if I try and play the game to complete the game that way, I'm going to miss out on all the other opportunities. Sometimes I'm just going to do an exploratory day. Sometimes I'm just going to try and see what's outside, or do this, do that, do the other. And in doing so, you are expanding the opportunities available to you in order to complete the game. Getting to the antechamber isn't necessarily the most beneficial way of playing that game. You have to explore. You have to go sideways in order to go up. Like the proudest thing I had the other day was getting the trophy for filling every single room, like getting a whole thing. And I thought, that's so cool. Like that's a fun achievement. Did I get anywhere? No, I called it a day, but I managed to learn so many things about it and expand my knowledge. Again, this game is not for everyone. It's also maybe a game that I won't actually see credits on. And I'm kind of okay with that. And I know that even people who've said, oh, you think you've seen credits, you have not finished Blueprint, because it runs deep. And I am so happy to have played this game. And there are times where I've just felt so clever, and I've accidentally nailed it. Like, realizing that there's a thing called the breaker room that you can get and turn stuff on and off, and figuring something out without looking at a guide. If you look at a guide, you can probably do it pretty quickly, because it'll just give you like the safe code for this or the thing for this, because they don't change. It's the same code. You know, you can just look up on IGN or whatever and be like, all right, that's the code, fine, use it. But you're missing out on the point of the game and the joy of discovery.
Cool.
Yeah.
So is it like a roguelite almost? It sounds like there's RNG in it, I guess, with the room layout. But by the knowledge you get, it's kind of like a permanent upgrade.
Right. Yeah. And that's what's so weird about it. Like, so there are permanent upgrades, like Ben's talking about not having enough keys. Like there's ways that you can secure more keys permanently through the game to make that less of an issue. Okay. But yeah, it is like the knowledge that you acquire.
That's kind of sick, dude.
The permanent upgrade. And
I like that.
I don't know how much you've gotten into this, Ben, but the story that's presented to the trailer is that you inherit this mansion. You're on the condition that you can get to room 46.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, this is kind of a cool story, kind of light. The lore of this game is extensive.
Oh.
And as we were saying, like, it's not going to be for everybody. In fact, I think there's a lot of people that are going to roll credits on this game and not think about any of the lore ever. And that's fine. It becomes very important later on. Like you really need to play this game like an insane person to get everything out of it. So it can kind of gatekeep in that way. Like I was saying on Sacred, I'm like, dude, if I wasn't playing this with my wife, who is much smarter than me, I would be having a way harder time because there are times where she's like we'll be in a room and she'll notice something. She's like, hold on. And then she'll like, oh, this connects this. And if we do this, then this will happen. I'm like, how did you even figure that out? So it's been really rewarding in that way, but yeah, not necessarily for everybody.
The last time I felt this way about a game was The Witness. Like I remember getting the platinum trophy on The Witness, which those who know, you have to do something called the challenge, which is procedurally generated versions of the puzzles that you've learned how to do. You know, there's definitive answers to the puzzles in The Witness, apart from the challenge, which you do to essentially a load of music ending up with the Hall of the Mountain King. And it is one of the hardest things I've ever done. My heart has not raced harder than me on the fly trying to work out what the answer to these puzzles are. And I remember my housemate at the time coming in and we go, listen to that. Is that a bird? How does that going? Up, down, up, down, up, down. And he's like, I have no idea what you're saying. There's something wrong with you here. But I was so attuned to this game. I locked in so hard that everything was a clue. And I think this game can do the same for you if you're willing to let it. You can just build stuff. You can just upgrade rooms or do X, Y, and Z. And that's fine. And you can probably get to the end. But if you're looking at stuff, if you're walking into rooms thinking, what is it about this room? What is this room telling me? There is so much fertile ground to have a really engaging experience. And those people that are going, I'm obsessed with blueprints, believe them, because it can drive you crazy.
Yeah. Dio Lixon wrote in right here. Hey guys, I keep hearing that you haven't really beaten blueprints once you've rolled credits, which you guys did say, but I'm 7 days after beating the game and I'm starting to feel a little burnt out. Am I the guy about to find the diamonds in the meme, or should I feel comfortable calling it? I love the game and I don't want to force myself to play it.
Can I interest you in a game called Clair Obscur Expedition 33?
There you go, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, also, just because someone tells you to play a game doesn't mean you have to play it, you know?
Right.
I think if you're done with it, you're done with it. That's fine, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I gave up on Skyrim after about 120 hours. I could have probably played for another 250. But I went, I'm done. My time with this game is done. It stopped being enjoyable. So now I'm going to continue on to another thing. So, you know, it's if you don't have to play something because you want to be a part of the zeitgeist or feel like you have an opinion on something. It's okay to just put something down. And if it means the experience is less enjoyable, then just stop playing it. I know that's really hard because it's like, we feel like it's homework, right? Someone tells you that you're not a real gamer unless you've spent 8,000 hours in blueprints. I'm like, you can just move on to something else. There's some good games out. Yeah. Really good, and some really good ones coming out. So, you know, just move on to those.
Yeah. I would say, I don't know, if you're feeling burnt out, then I think what Ben's saying is probably best. Come back maybe later when you're feeling the itch to draft some rooms. The one thing, and this might be heresy to some people, is that if you're feeling stuck, I found there was a couple situations where I didn't search for a direct answer, but I would search for a hint. And there's lots of Reddit threads where people are not telling specific answers, but giving hints on where to go. And that has been really helpful, where there's been a few points where I'm like, man, I know there are purists that would never want to look anything up. More power to you. There are some things in this game where I'm like, man, I would have never even gotten close to that if I hadn't looked for someone to point me in the right direction. So if you're frustrated, that could be a suggestion. But probably if you're feeling burnt out, come back later, because this is a game that you'll probably be able to pick up pretty easily once you come back to it.
Yeah. Gene, have you played this or any interest in playing it?
I have not played it. I am interested in playing because of all the chatter about it. What scares me off is the RNG-ness of it. I think I'm not ready to deal with something that random, you know? But I'm interested in it. And people compare it to Myst, and as an old head of adventure games and Myst and stuff like that, that intrigues me. Like that immediately makes me want to check it out someday. But just not into the RNG right now. I like Expedition 33 because I control my fate. So.
Can I ask a question? Did any of you play the Riven remake when it came out? I'd love to. I saw that and I was like, God, I'd love to. I'd never played Riven back in the day, so I'd love to kind of get an excuse into it, because I know that they remade it maybe last year, and it's one of those games I always feel like I haven't played video games until I've played Riven. So I wondered if you guys knew it was any good.
Yeah, there's always something like that. I mean, as we all know, there's too many games. Can't play them all. So it's a struggle.
Yeah. I need to play Myst at some point. I really have a nostalgic connection to that game, where my dad, who doesn't really play games at all, that was one of the one games that he played on our family home computer. I remember being so like intrigued by it as a little kid. And I would try to play it by myself and be like, when you're 6 years old or something trying to play Myst, there's not very much you can do. But it's supposed to be, that's like one of the legends of puzzle games.
Absolutely.
It was the best-selling game for a while too, I think. So yeah, everyone had that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
It was like Doom, but it was thinking
Puzzle
Doom.
Puzzle Doom.
Puzzle Doom. Question, Dustin: should I play Blueprints on PC or PlayStation? Better the mouse or controller?
I really don't think it matters.
Okay.
I played it on PlayStation because I have PlayStation Plus Extra. Right now. So, but I think that you would have a fine time either way.
Okay.
I can't recommend Steam Deck enough. It just is ripe for travel. And the one thing I'd love is my Steam page says I have 70 hours in Blueprints. I don't. I just accidentally left it on for a few days. But I wish you could pause it. Maybe I'm being silly here. I wish you could pause a run. You can't. Sure. You have to call it a day. And I wish that you could just go like, oh, I need to go, because there were times where I didn't want to start another run. I remember this being a thing about Returnal when it first came out. Sometimes I built up a run and I have to go, and I didn't expect it to be a half an hour run. I thought it was going to be a 10-minute run, and now I'm late for something and I don't want to leave it. So actually, if they are going to add something in, I think that would be a really cool thing to do, to be able to pause it and save where you are and come out of the game without calling it a day, which would be useful.
One of the things...
I'm sorry, Dustin, go ahead.
I was just going to say real quick, one of the things, Ben, is that we've paused runs by just leaving our PlayStation on. And I don't know if they've fixed this. I know they've put out a few patches, but I found that twice I've had runs that, like, we'll just say a run that involves the boiler room that was very important.
Yes.
And I achieve a very difficult goal, and then I am walking and it just freezes.
No.
And this has happened to me twice on extremely important runs. So yeah, a mid-game save, that would be very nice.
It seems like such a simple thing. There must be a reason why they haven't put it in. So it's easy for me sitting here, like, just put a mid-game save in. I'm sure they imagined it in the program. There'll be a reason why they can't. But if there is an opportunity to, that would be really great, because I feel like there are times where I've just had to kind of call it a day because I have work or something. And it is such a brilliant portable experience.
Yeah. Whoa, my phone's ringing. Spam. We're going to kind of go out of order a little bit right here, because I want to make sure we get this while we have Ben here. We're going to do some questions from the audience, just a bunch of them. Most of them are for Ben, so I want to make sure we get through all of them.
Can Dustin answer some of them as me?
Sure, yeah.
I've been working on my Clive voice in the shower,
have a go.
Absolutely. Final,
That's really good.
Yeah. I'm I'll bust it out a little bit more through the upside. I think you'll be impressed.
Thank you.
All right. This is from Connor Reese. Hey guys, a small question mainly for Ben. Is there a character in an existing IP or just a franchise that you would love to play in a video game? Congratulations on all your recent successes as a performer in the industry. You're an exceptional talent, and I can't wait to see what else you do in the future. Cheers.
Yes, there are lots of characters that I would like to play. I will say this. The reason I want to play those characters is because they have so iconically been portrayed by people in the past that have made them desirable to play. So I'm very lucky. In the future, I just look to originate more stuff. I think I want to do what they did and lay down a path where we go, that character's cool. God, I wish I'd played that. You know, there are many, many characters that I would like to say. And I've said, you know, I talk about Legacy of Kain a lot. Just let me in. Let me in, please.
Good.
Come on.
You'd be a good fit for that. Yeah.
I was very fortunate to work with the team when they launched their, I don't think it's a Kickstarter. I think it's I can't remember what their crowdfunding thing for the TTRPG and Encyclopedia. So I was very fortunate to work alongside Simon Templeman for that. So it's cool and neat that I'm allowed a little bit in the door, but I'd love to be a part of that franchise, but maybe explore a different character in that world. You know, Nosgoth is a big old place. But I was so lucky to play an original character in Final Fantasy, a pre-existing franchise with an original character. I'm so excited that I get to play Verso. And yes, Kazan already existed, but it's nice to be able to kind of take that DNF character and make him my own. I really enjoy building things from the ground up. But yeah, other than that, Legacy of Kain, let me in.
Can I get a Vevictus from Ben?
Pardon?
Vevictus from Ben? Vevictus?
You'll get it when it's ready.
Oh, God. Always a tease, Ben. Always a tease.
You got to pay for that.
All right. This is from Windy Soul. Hey, Summoners. This one is for the icon himself with an E. What was it like having Clive be a guest in Tekken 8? Did you know that it was in the works for a while? Or did Square phone you up and say, hey, Clive is in another game. Can you come back for more VO? Also, blink twice if Clive is in Kingdom Hearts 4. Don't worry about that.
Everyone wants to know about Kingdom Hearts 4, don't they?
Oh,
boy.
Oh, boy.
I did know about Tekken for a very long time. I knew it for Koji actually told me, Michael Christopher Koji Fox told me at a PAX once, he went, just so you know, you can't go anywhere near a Tekken booth for a really long time. I knew that, and that was neat. The cool thing was that Noctis was in Tekken 7, but was voiced in Japanese. So Clive is canonically English. You know, he was recorded first in English, so I got to be the canon voice for Clive. That was neat. Being at the Game Awards and seeing that was really cool. Was really, really cool. And sitting in the audience and seeing the reaction, and I had a nice time there. And what a lovely way of bringing back a character that means so much to me and always means so much to me in a really cool way. And I didn't realize that the what the hell is cosplay was going to take off as much as it did.
Oh yeah.
It was a really collaborative process actually working on Tekken. Koji was so good at, we went through the lines and we were like, what would Clive say? And so we would have calls, Zoom calls, where we would sit down and go, what is it? What feels right for the character? And so I actually kind of got a little bit of a say in how Clive was going to be depicted in Tekken, which was really neat. I'm not going to take a writing credit for it, but certainly I think the team recognized that I had a contribution in the creation of this character in some capacity, and they wanted to include me. And it's been really lovely how collaborative they were over that process. So the cosplay line we knew was going to pop. And so it was fun to see it actually happen.
I guess, is Clive kind of one of the characters you've had maybe the most freedom with nowadays? Kind of letting you interpret him how you want to?
I would the character is created by other people. I feel like like people ask me, what do you think of the ending? What do you think of this? And I'm never, ever going to dictate what people think about Clive as a character. Clive is a million different things, because depending on how you reacted to him is yours. Death of the author, man. Go and enjoy him. Many people have written loads of fan fiction about that character. My version of that character is no more valid than yours. But I just have an opportunity to be an ambassador for him, I think. And I really like that. But Clive is yours. He's not mine. You know, I get to, it really is. And it's people have taken him in a game like Final Fantasy 16. It's amazing that a character like Clive has really, really caught the imagination of the Final Fantasy community. And that's really cool. That's really, really cool. I always see the Dissidia image, and I'd love Clive to be in Dissidia, you know, or to team up alongside some of my heroes would be really, really neat to do.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, you with Squall. Hey,
oh my
maybe
God,
Kingdom Hearts 4. Who knows? It's happened.
Who knows, guys?
Who knows?
Confirmed.
Yeah.
Who knows? All right, this is from Quantum Radish. Hey, all. My question is for Ben. How did you end up becoming the mascot Jimbo from Balatro? Are you a fan of the game? Also, shout out to Final Fantasy 16. I just got the platinum last month. Fantasy, finally.
Firstly, congratulations on the platinum. When people tell me they got the 16 platinum, I'm like, yeah, well done. The Balatro thing's fun. I actually thank you to Rebecca Ford, the creative director of Warframe, who messaged me up saying, Ben, you want to play a live action Jimbo? And it was just Wout, who works at PlayStack.
Wout.
Lovely Wout.
Love that guy.
If you've watched any award shows this year, Wout is the person going up to accept on behalf of Balatro. He's been a really great, to use this word again, ambassador for the game, because Local Thunk wants to quite rightly remain anonymous and has a lovely life and doesn't need to deal with any of that stuff. And
shout out to Wout. He's a good friend and a good PR guy and an amazing Dragon's Dogma enthusiast.
Yes.
He's been crowing about Dragon's Dogma for like a decade. And then when 2 came out, it's like, oh, finally everyone's catching up to Wout.
Yeah. Wow, really, if you're watching this, we love you. We love you.
Wout.
And he, put me in touch with Wout and Reb put me in touch with Wout. And then we just plotted this idea for this commercial called Friends of Jimbo 3. Did a silly thing. It came out around the time of the Game Awards. They gave me 20 gigs of outtakes. I edited together an outtakes thing that kind of did some numbers, and then my face became once again a meme. Once again a reaction meme. If you want a reaction meme, chances are my face is a part of one of them. And it was fun. And then when they were nominated for so many awards, I was at the GDC Awards, and oh my God, they just kept going round like a circle and just accepting so many awards. I suggested to the team, wouldn't it be silly if I dressed up as Jimbo in a tuxedo and represented Balatro? And they loved it. So we did. I did. And there's me at the BAFTAs accepting an award on behalf of the team. And a lot of my friends thought that I'd won a BAFTA. Many people interviewed me as though I'd won a BAFTA. I didn't win a BAFTA. But it was really a really fun thing. And I love taking the work seriously, but not taking myself. So, really fun.
Yeah, you got to have fun every now and then, like that. Unwind a little bit. But yeah, it's very entertaining to see you dressed up as Jimbo.
Yeah, it's a horrific thing. I sat at the table to get food afterwards, and this lovely woman was talking to me for 10 minutes. She was delighted the clown was at the table. And after 10 minutes, she held the phone up and she went, I've Googled you. And actually, you're quite attractive here. She was sitting next to this hideous clown. And I was like, yeah, I don't do this to be a thirst trap. Really, I don't.
That's funny. Oh, man. All right. This is from Jermaine Mason. Yo, Summon Crew. What's your guys' favorite upgrade system in gaming? I just started the Star Ocean series, and it's easily in my top 3 alongside Final Fantasy X's Sphere Grid and Fallout's special system. Have a good one and keep up the good content later. All right, favorite systems or upgrade systems in JRPGs. I immediately think of the license board from Final Fantasy 12. I really liked that one a lot. Kind of like a little more, it felt like the Sphere Grid just a little more free, I would say. I felt a little more free when I was doing it. And I was very addicted to like flipping those boards and seeing what you get. Delightful.
This is a great
to choose
question.
from. It's a tough question. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm thinking Expedition 33 is already kind of up there, no hyperbole, but like I really love the upgrade system. And my other answer would be Xenoblade Chronicles X. Not perfect. There's actually a lot of upgrades and abilities that are fairly useless, but the stuff that you do get is so flexible and so fun and so powerful that and you get mechs and you can upgrade the mechs too. So there are different layers of upgrades that you can get for your own party and then for the mechs, and you can upgrade the party to favor the mechs too. You can make the mechs even more powerful by building your party towards a mech type party. So I just really enjoy that, and it's the reason why I spent 250 hours on that game.
Nice, good one.
Materia is just classic. I'm just like
Materia is one of the best systems ever.
Yeah, it's just easily one of the easiest to understand and flexible systems too. And of course the Esper system, as we talked about too. 6 and 7 were just so goated for systems and mechanics.
Yeah.
So the thing that I thought of isn't an RPG, but it is an upgrade system. I was thinking of the Dishonored games and how the upgrade system invites more creativity to your gameplay, where like I remember first seeing the gameplay for the first Dishonored and being like, holy shit, how did they the ways you can solve and do different things in this game, whether you're transforming into a rat and sneaking in somewhere and then all kinds of things. So that was the first thing I thought of, where like, man, continually through playing both Dishonored 1 and 2, as you upgrade the tool set that you unlock in order to complete missions and stuff, just gets amazing.
Yeah, good one.
Mine is 2, not in the RPG realm. A couple of things kind of come to mind, but one that really stuck with me, and I think in the same way that Expedition 33 asks you to break the game. It says, I would like you to take the things that we've given you and destroy the systems in front of you, is Inscription, where if you've played that game and then you go in and you do Casey's mod, like Casey's mod is the only way you can beat that game is by breaking the game. Because it goes, you think you've broken it? Well, we're just going to give you almost impossible, insurmountable odds to play this card game. And in order to do it, you have to create these, you have to mod your cards in a certain way that, when your cards are being dealt to you, you're going to get dealt the right cards, but also you have the same effects. You upgrade them in the right way to the point where you go, well, this card is fundamentally broken. It's like, of course it is, but it's the only way that you can defeat the game. And I'm so proud of how I did on that game and finally overcoming like the most difficult thing that's almost impossible to win unless you break it. And it feels so clever because you feel so devious doing it. And, it's just cards, but you're going, well, if I do this, then that's going to have a chain reaction on here. That's going to lead to this. And then you just start thinking 13 steps ahead. And when all of that comes into play, it's one of the most satisfying things. So yeah, Inscription, shout out.
Yeah, great game. All right, this is from ABE Fungus. Greetings, summon busters. A quick keep it up to Ben. Such a phenomenal portfolio of work, and wish nothing but the best moving forward. As someone who is a first-time directing a small indie dev team, what are some tips/tricks you could give to my inexperienced college dork friends who are voice acting for our game? Despite them being quite amateur, they are deeply passionate about the project and would love to hear some of that secret sauce either you have developed or fellow VAs have given you, as well as from those who have directed you. Much love. Keep summoning those sussies.
I don't know. Maybe I'll kind of redirect the question to the group a little bit. What is it about that you like about certain voice performances or video game performances? Do you know? Can you ever put your finger on what it is?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. It's hard because I feel like certain voice actors bring different things to a performance.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's texture. I think that what I like about voices is vocal texture. And so everyone has a different thing, but it's almost like you can feel their performance when you listen to it.
Right.
And
that's true. Yeah.
Does it feel like you could hold it? That's a weird thing to say, but do you feel like you could put your hand out and physically hold that. And if it also feels present in the space, and I'm really trying to say to people that vocal texture is super, super important. Make it feel like you're there. A lot of people find it very difficult to separate being in a booth or being in an isolated space or a volume but making it feel like it's incredibly present. And that's a seriously difficult thing to do, because I don't think it requires training. It just requires an understanding of kind of reality a little bit. And there are some people's voices I could listen to until the cows come home. You think about like, what's the most texturous voice you've ever heard? It's probably Christopher Judge as Kratos. It's probably, David Hayter. It's Jennifer
That's
Hale.
what I was thinking, Snake, yeah.
Yeah, but like what's so amazing about Laura Bailey in The Last of Us 2 is the texture of what she brings to Abby. And it's so raw. It's so raw and dangerous. And I'm not saying you have to have a raw and dangerous performance to do it, but it's a performance you can literally reach out and hold. And as an amateur in a first time, you're not going to get that, but like try and strive for that. I think is see how that works, and see if you can make your voice feel like it's a physical thing. Cool. Also body as well. My God, do not stand still, and do not, for the love of everything, sit down. Do not. I've never sat down in a session in my life. You should never sit down in a session. You are not activating your body. Root yourself in the ground. Get up off that chair. You're not there. Like, even if your character is sitting down, stand up, because you cannot activate your body if you're sitting down. Like, it just doesn't work. So no way sit down.
Okay. Some good advice there. Okay, this is from Josh M. Hey, Summoners, if you had to make your own dream RPG, what form would it take? What are the combat styles and settings you would combine? Additionally, for Ben, what was it like filming the mildly unhinged Friends of Jimbo Balatro trailer? Shout out for Marathon 2. Thanks for the great shows. I'm super excited to hear from you all on Expedition and more. All right, well, let's start with the first part. Well, we did talk about Balatro already, I guess, but Dream RPG, you get to make one. Ben, people come to you, they're like, here's a ton of money. Mm-hmm. You get to make whatever RPG you want. What are you doing?
I hate adaptations, but I've said this before and I quite like it. I want to see Succession, but as an RPG. I want to see the television show Succession. No, that's what I love. And I say that because what I love about RPGs is they have the ability to take real life and kind of break down its component parts and restructure them in the form of a role-playing game. And I think it's really fun to see how we can break down real life and then restructure it in a role-playing game. So it's like the idea of, Thirsty Suitors. How does that work? Like, let's take real life situations and recreate them. So anything that's kind of boring, I'd love to see it just like boring stuff made exciting through mechanics. That's the power of games, is to break something down, build it back up, and allow us to almost analyze why that works. It could be anything. I don't know what my dream RPG is. It's Clair Obscur Expedition 33, but let's just take mundane things, and I think Succession would be so cool to see. And
you guys seen that show, Dustin, Brad?
Nope.
No.
I highly recommend it, Dustin, especially. Like, it is a fucking funny show. It is one of the funniest things I've ever watched. It is not a super serious drama. It can be, but it is so fucking funny. And it would be hilarious to have it as an RPG.
It's so melodramatic. It's so over the top. And I think it has a lot of RPG elements to it. But, there's lots of people vying for the top spots and doing stuff and backstabbing each other and trying to achieve it. But yeah, anything that takes real life and then restructures it in an RPG.
I'm trying to think of what role Greg would play at a party, right?
You want to make a Tomlet, you got to break some Gregs. It's one of the greatest lines of all time. Shout out to Succession.
He'll just be a tank. He'll just take all the damage for every single time.
I watched a film called Saturday Night recently, which is about the first ever episode of Saturday Night Live. And that actor plays Jim Henson and Andy Kaufman.
Greg?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
He's really good. He's really talented.
Dustin, what are you making?
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that draws me to Persona is that they partially take place in the real world. So I do like the idea of a real world RPG. And one of the things, I didn't mention this earlier, but one of the things about Expedition 33 that I didn't realize would speak to me, but now that I'm playing it, it does, is that it's neat to be playing a type of JRPG or whatever that the characters are almost exactly my age. A little older. I'm 31 right now. So I like the idea of older characters in a real world, but Persona as
It's Yakuza also, right?
What's that?
Yakuza, like a dragon.
Yakuza? Yeah, that's true.
They're 40-year-old homeless guys. Yeah.
40-year-old homeless guys? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You play Like a Dragon, right? No?
No.
What?
I mean, I started Like a Dragon, but I haven't. I felt bad, like I was missing out too much by not playing all the rest.
No, don't play all the rest. Just play 7. That's the game that you're talking about right now, dude. Exactly.
I started
guys your age in the
it.
real world. That's Yakuza Like a Dragon. And it's turn-based.
Never played a Yakuza game, and then I played Like a Dragon.
Ben, you need to play this too.
No, I played it. I hadn't played any of them, and then I was like, turn-based, count me in. And then 120 hours later, I'm like, Millennium Tower, most difficult thing. I've ruined my life to this game. It's amazing.
Oh my God, yes.
The business like mini game.
Yes.
Absolutely obsessed.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dustin. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do, dude. That's one of the things that keeps me up at night is that I haven't finished any Yakuza game. And I'm like, dude, for being the resident weeb here that tries to go to Japan like once a year at this point, it's obvious that I need to do this at some point. So maybe soon. I'm a little busy right now, but with some other games, but
yeah. All right, Gene, what would you want to make?
As cheesy as it sounds, and I'm not saying it's just because Ben is here, but Expedition 33 is fairly close, actually. I think I would just change the art style a little bit. I know everyone loves the art design. That's cool. I just wouldn't mind something a little bit more fantastical, you know. And again, a little happier and more adventurous, you know, as opposed to just like really dreary and sad or whatever, you know.
Gene, why do you hate Expedition 33?
I hate
it so much.
Yeah.
Fake fan, dude.
Such a fake fan. God.
But like everything else it does is like the world map, you know, like it really reminds you, you know, Guillaume was talking about this on the Xbox interview. I've been trying to watch as many interviews as I can because I'm actually interviewing him this week. So
they said they're
very excited for that. Can't wait for that conversation. But you know, I'm trying to hear what he said before, and it really sounds like that his favorite thing in the game is the world map. Mm-hmm. The most exciting thing he's talked about, the thing that activates him the most when you see him in interviews. That's like when he gets the most activated and excited. And he's got a point where it really, you know, it's a lost art, and it really conveys a sense of scale and epic journey that like a real world map doesn't, you know. Like a regular like if you're just walking through Red Dead Redemption, you're kind of playing the game and you're watching the scenery, but then it's always a step by step. You know, world maps are like a visual shortcut to making your brain thinking that you've went through all these miles. You know, so when I see the complete world map in Expedition 33, that's what I really fucking fell in love with the game. When I realized how big the world map was and how many secrets there are in there. And I like by the time I got to the end, I really felt like, wow, I really know this world now. You know, I feel so intimately close to this world. And I think that's a huge point of the game, that you feel close to this world, you know, and the characters in it.
Can I add on to this? Like, if you like Clair Obscur and you're thinking, what can I play next? This might sound like a curveball. Please go and play Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not turn-based, but the sense of adventure, the sense of world map, the sense of like it being a Studio Ghibli, beautiful, heart-wrenching story. Give it a shot.
So sad.
It's one of my favorites. It's so sad. Look, if you enjoyed this sad game, play this sad game. Yeah. But again, it's another contemplation. It feels like RPGs really are only about grief. It's an amazing meditation on grief in a very different way. But I think that is one of my favorite RPGs of the past 25 years. Past 50, and I just think it's so beautiful, and it was the game that made me go, God, this is a bit like I hadn't played an old school Final Fantasy in a while. I think 13 had just come out, and I was like, I want to play this, and it just recaptured that real sense of adventure because of the world map. Because you go out into the world and you're like, look where I can go, look what I can do. It feels so epic.
Mm-hmm. For me, I kind of boring answers, but I would make a turn-based Zelda game, I think, or a Castlevania game. I kind of have an idea of turning these like series that aren't necessarily like turn-based games into turn-based games and seeing how they could do it. I'd have a lot of fun doing that. I thought of like a new Final Fantasy Tactics that'd be like extremely high budget, but I was like, I don't know. I think I could go for like a very simple, like maybe like the Sea of Stars devs, if they made like a 2D Zelda RPG or something like that, I would absolutely adore.
I've been shouting this out, but Chained Echoes, please come. People play.
Yes, it's very good. It's very good if you guys like those old school like Super Nintendo RPGs and stuff like that. If you like Chrono Trigger, games like that, yeah. Especially if you played Sea of Stars, yeah.
Yeah, it's got this amazing meter where like you have to stay within this almost like heat meter where you can't just attack all the time or defend. You have to, your party has to adjust, and so if you get hit, it's going to go in a certain direction. You have to stay in this sweet spot, otherwise you're at a huge disadvantage. Yes. And the risk reward way of playing turn-based is really cool. Also, the story's so tight, you don't have to go out and grind. You only get upgrades after certain story points, so you're never going to be over-leveled or under-leveled. You're never thinking, am I too weak or strong for this fight? You will be exactly as the game wants you to be, so there is a logical way of beating every single fight. And the story's really cool, so yeah. Chained Echoes.
And you get mechs, so that's a plus as well.
Kick-ass mechs.
Yeah. All right, this is from Come Efreet, come my Efreet, you my fire boy. All right, gentlemen, you found yourselves in the gamer bad place, hell, and decided you can earn a place in the gamer good place, heaven, by playing one franchise to absolute completion. The catch is that it has to be one you despise or at least strongly dislike. Which franchise is it? All right, so you gotta play some franchise you dislike or you're not super into, I guess. Yeah. What's it gonna be? The
this one's easy
franchise. For me. Okay.
But I'm slightly cheating because I have completed a decent amount of them. It's Assassin's Creed. It's got to be. I've played the 2 trilogy, played 3, I played 4. So I've already got like half the way there, but I think Odyssey, whatever the new like super open world, really long ones, I have not completed any of those. Oh,
you got to play all the spin-offs, Dustin, as well.
Oh,
so you got to play the Rogues, you got to play the Liberations, you got to play the mobile games.
Mobile games, no. Yeah. Wow. Okay, maybe I fucked up on this one. Surely not even necessarily because of any kind of quality or preference, but just the amount of hours.
Yeah, it's a lot of gaming.
Will be rough. So yeah, so I guess I'm locked in on that answer. Assassin's Creed.
Gene, what are you picking?
One that I despise? I don't know.
Or dislike. I don't know. Despise is a strong word, I suppose, but
yeah,
you're not too big of a fan of.
I haven't. I need to think about this a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah. Ben, do you have one?
Yes, and I believe it absolutely represents all circles of hell. It is being forced to play every single one, and I don't hate this franchise, but I would by the end of it, every single FIFA game.
Oh my God.
Every single, EA Sports FC, let's get it right now. Like every single one of them to completion. Like you've got to win the league, you've got to win the Champions League for every single one, because it's that period of time, 2007 to about 2011, it's basically the same game. But this time you can do a different header. It's like, I'm playing the same thing. I know a lot of people love them, and they are, they're very cool games for people. And a lot of people, that's all they play. I don't know how many people play them who watch this channel. I will say this: I think that Ultimate Team is not good.
Right.
I think it is a parasite on the industry, and I think it's really harmful. And I think it's absolutely ironic that a game like Balatro gets an 18+ for gambling when there's now actually in-game currency.
It's insane.
It's crazy. It's wild. But so being forced to play, I was a huge Pro Evo fan back in the day. So I played a lot of like Pro Evolution Soccer, And a lot of my friends are really hardcore FIFA fans, and that's really, really cool. But having to play every single one, you would want to be dead. You'd be like, I am dead now.
Okay. I got my answer in the spirit of Ben. This is also a series that I actually like a lot. I'm a huge fan of the series, but it would be absolutely hell to play through every single Dynasty Warriors game.
Oh my God. Because you'd have to play every spin-off too.
Every spin-off, Samurai Warriors, and then of course Hyrule Warriors, which is absolutely a nightmare to complete. And I've done it once before. And to do that again for like every other one, like I feel like, wow, Satan, you're really testing me. Okay, let's give this a shot, you know. And I'm gonna hate it by the end of it, but at least I would make it to the pearly gates by then, you know.
Yeah, and you have to play the 3DS versions at like 12 FPS.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll
play every port. Yeah.
Man.
Oof.
For me, they're not bad games at all, but I just don't enjoy them. Is Borderlands. Just the quips, man. By the end, I'd be ready to kill myself. Just with all the jokes and all this stuff. I'm just like, that's enough, guys. I just can't do it. I'm out. All right, boys. I think we're kind of running out of time here with Ben.
Yeah.
So we'll say our goodbyes and all that kind of stuff.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. The rest of me and Gene and Dustin will go on for a little bit longer. But Ben, thank you very much for joining us. We greatly appreciate it, dude. Anything else you want to talk about coming up? Besides, you got Magic the Gathering coming up at PAX East, which is gonna be sweet.
My D&D group's also doing a bit of playing there. So Natural Six, we're doing some stuff there. I'm in a game called Hades 2. So if you want to get that in early access, I'm so nothing I really want to promote because it just is what it is, really. But thanks to everyone who wrote in and asked a question or cares about what it is that I'm up to. I really like this industry, and I really like the people who work in it, and I like the people who engage with it and talk about it, and I love the debates, and it's just a really beautiful place to exist. And I thank you to everyone who's welcomed me in. I've been around for about 5 minutes, so it's really cool to feel like I get to hang out with you guys. Thank you for having me on this show, and hopefully I will do you all proud and continue to do games that have an effect on people and also be an idiot at the same time. I do have a question. Do I just leave the call? Is that what I do? Or are we going to do like a cool, that's the end? Is that a thing that we're going to do?
I don't know. Dustin, how do you want to handle it? You're the editor for this.
Well, we need to stop it to make sure it uploads. But what we could do, I think, I don't know, we can end off, if you have something prepared, like something that sounds really sick, maybe a little rousing.
Yeah.
And then once you finish, then Brad will hit stop and then we'll go back.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you say arousing?
If you want. I mean, that's kind of what I was hoping for, but I didn't want to say it too bluntly, but I guess I did. So,
yeah.
Hi, you sexy fucks. Thank you so much for listening to me whisper into a microphone for 2 hours. Go and play Blueprints. And once you're tired of that, once you're burnt out on Blueprints, play the critically acclaimed masterpiece, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Please, people, we could do with the money. They'd love your money. So if you can spend money on that game, that'd be great. You can get it for free on Game Pass, or at no extra cost on Game Pass, but just maybe buy 2 copies or 3 copies because they just love some money. Thank you.
All right, boys, we're back. Now it's time for Sort It Out. You guys know how this works. We just talk about something that needs sorting in the industry, something we're not too pleased with. Let's start with Dustin.
I got one.
Yeah, what do you got?
I got one, and I'll be honest, I know it's going to be a little eye-rolly for some of the audience just because it's complaining about the discourse. But Brad presented me this outlet to complain.
Yes.
I'm going to do so. And I don't really care if you don't like it. So my complaint is, I'm trying to figure out how to even sum it up. There's been a lot of people that I've seen with Oblivion and Clair Obscur releasing, where it's almost like this holier than thou because, well, I bought the game to support the developers over you scum that played it on Game Pass. They don't say that directly, but you get that feeling from people. It's like, oh, well, I like to I bought the game because I support developers. Enough. These developers that are on Game Pass signed up for it. And let me tell you, they got paid a lot of money to be on Game Pass. And so my thing is, just play the game wherever you want. And if you want to, sure, they can get the Game Pass bag and you can buy it. And that does support them. I'm not denying that at all. But fronting with the holier than thou attitude, just chill out. Let people, if you have Game Pass and you want to play something there, it's not like you're not supporting them because they made a lot of money from that Game Pass deal. So that's fine. If you truly want to go above and beyond and buy the game as well, even better. But I don't know. I just get this weird feeling like this classism or it's like, oh, I'm better than you because I supported the developer. It's like, no. They were supported handsomely by being on Game Pass. And so it's fine. Just play the game wherever you want. And that's totally cool. Let's just chill out a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, these devs aren't like forced with a gun to their head to put it on Game Pass. So.
No. And it's not like they're putting it on Game Pass for free.
Right. They're still making money. Yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, and it's, to be clear, like if you want to buy for the most part, I buy all my games as opposed to a subscription service. Blue Prince is an outlier where I just had extra, so I went with that. But it's like, there's no need to feel any guilt about playing a game on a subscription service, I guess.
Nice. Okay. Gene, what about you? Anything this week for you?
Nothing really. Just this is very cliche, but a slight finger wag to Xbox for releasing Oblivion so close to Expedition 33.
Gene, careful.
Look,
careful with that. Trust me, I've been through it. Easy saying that.
I know, Dustin. You tweeted it out, which is very brave of you. And here I am, the coward, hiding in the summon sign, right? For our audience. But it's like, Sandfall doesn't control they do control their schedule, right? Xbox doesn't control the schedule when Expedition 33 came out, but you do fucking control the schedule for your own game, Bethesda, and it's nice to see that Oblivion didn't stomp all over Expedition 33, but my God, as we're about to talk about, playing Oblivion is very engrossing. Mm-hmm. It's hard to pull away from, And I can only imagine how much more pop they could have gotten if it was released on its own. But then there's also the whole Barbenheimer thing too, right? But it's like it just goes to show like how Microsoft is like kind of fucking stupid about like their schedule, like as an entertainment company, like it's fucking stupid to cannibalize your own shit that way, Like, why would you do that, And, it's not like Sony hasn't done the same before, too. I thought it was kind of fucking stupid to release Ghost of Tsushima so close after Last of Us 2,
Mm-hmm.
I think that totally impacted the sales of Last of Us 2, especially people that felt like burned about the game's story or whatever and was burned by the whole controversy back in the day 4 years ago. And then I deeply remember people being like, oh my God, Ghost of Tsushima is the real video game, And it's like, no, Last of Us 2 is also a real-ass video game, too. And it's weird that Sony thought like, oh yeah, we'll just release both of our big hits at the same time, And then now now Sony just doesn't do that. They just don't release any games, period.
Right.
So
right. Yeah, I think an important detail, Gene, as we were joking about some of the responses to my tweets, is that it's not even just that it feels like why would you do that to Clair Obscur and have them have to share the stage, but it's like, no, it's kind of a self-own for Xbox because it's like, yo, you guys paid for a lot of the marketing in this game. Mm-hmm. You put it in your showcases. Like, you're the one who's doing all this marketing. So it's like, why would you...
You debuted that fucking game, right?
Right. And they put it in one of their developers direct. So it's like, for your own good, why would you do this? Yeah. When you invested so much in the marketing? It's like, I don't know. Obviously, they're not owned by Microsoft, so it's like, it's different. But they had a lot of money invested in Clair Obscur.
Yeah, so that's why I just keep saying that Microsoft is just showing like its inability to operate as an entertainment company, that understands schedules and IP and marketing. They just think like, oh yeah, we totally spent all this money on marketing, not thinking about it strategically. Oh, shadow drop, sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand the logic behind it.
I don't either.
So, yeah, maybe a little bit more of a finger wag, but yeah.
I like the finger wag. Yeah, give him a little finger wag. Mine is kind of aligned with this write-in from Lizard. Hey, Summon Crew, I want to issue a sword out to gamers who come out with stupid narratives almost every time a game comes out. Final Fantasy fans have been gaslit into thinking no one wants turn-based games. Brother, Square themselves have produced tons of turn-based games. What are these people on about? The Twitter money can't be that good.
So
every time a Final Fantasy or a turn-based RPG comes out, someone's like, "Why did Final Fantasy do this?" It's the same shit every single time, dude. And I'm so sick of it, dude. Every time. I know, Gene, you were annoyed by this as well.
I am, and partially, and look, I understand where they're coming from. I understand why, they ignore these other Square Enix turn-based games. It's because they want realistic graphics for the turn-based game. That's literally it. That's literally the only thing. You can fucking recommend Persona and Dragon Quest all fucking day till you're blue in the face, but these people don't like anime style. They can't get over the shit that looks like a fucking cartoon, which is fucking stupid, right? Like, grow up and like cartoons.
Grow up, bitch.
Grow up and like a cartoon, bitch.
Yeah.
But it's the only thing they want is high fidelity. They want to see the creases and folds in skin when they're doing turn-based combat. And that's the thing that it's like Square Enix believes that turn-based combat at that level of production and budget would not be profitable. Now, Expedition 33 comes out and says, hey, we can make a game that isn't quite that good looking, because there's a lot of creases and things in Expedition 33 that's a little janky. It's not, the lip syncing, there's a lot of clipping, there's a lot of repeated character models. All that's not complaints. I'm just pointing out things that don't appear in AAA games, right? Square Enix doesn't believe that this can happen, but it's you could just make a team of like 100 or 150 people, which is still relatively small compared to a full Final Fantasy, and make a really, really awesome turn-based game. So I understand the consternation that's coming from there, but also you have to understand, you have to admit to yourself that it's a you problem, that you don't like the anime style. You don't like Akira Toriyama's art style, that you can't get over that shit, and you can't play Dragon Quest at all. I think that's someone weird, but that's a you thing, though.
Saying out loud like you don't like Akira Toriyama's art style, that's
heinous.
It should be a jailable offense.
But say that to yourself, because that's true. These people don't like Akira Toriyama's art style. You don't want to play it. Dragon Quest has almost pretty much as good of a turn-based combat system. I'm spitting on my mic right here. As Clair Obscur Expedition, but you don't know that because you look at Akira Toriyama's art style and says, "I don't want to play that because that shit looks cheap." Say that to yourself. Admit it.
Yeah,
bitch. Sorry, I felt like that was important to put it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like if Final Fantasy 17 came out and it's turn-based, I'm totally cool with that, by the way. I have no problem with being turn-based, but I think if it came out at the quality or the budget level of Expedition 33, people would be clowning on it. Be like, this is Final Fantasy 17. The production, like Gene was saying, like some of the movements a little, like you could tell it's in its range, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're not saying that whatsoever. But it's not on the same production level as like Final Fantasy 16 or something like that, or remake or Rebirth, stuff like that.
Yeah, the way Rebirth and 16 like weave in and out of cutscenes, that has been in place since Final Fantasy 7. And my buddy Night Sky Prince on YouTube makes a great point. Final Fantasy 7 is the first AAA game. It just is.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to say. Yeah,
it's a game that defined the AAA standards in the first place. With movie productions, and it's like, oh, we're advertising this game in movie theaters. Check out these cutscenes. We're lying to you that this game looks this good, but this game looks this good, and so Final Fantasy has always been about it's not about turn-based combat system. It's about revolutionary presentation that mixes film, music, and video games, interactive medium together to make something interesting. And that's what they're trying to do but they're just kind of fucking up at it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, there is a chance that Final Fantasy mainline games could be turn-based in the future, something like that. I could see a game that's like Baldur's Gate or something like that in Final Fantasy universe.
Mm-hmm.
Anything's possible. But if you don't like Akira Toriyama's art style, sort your life out, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Get together, bitch.
So aggressive.
Yeah.
It's aggressive, but I think it's deserved.
Yeah. Aggressive but deserved.
Yes.
All right. This is from Genesis Point. Quick sorted out to all their quick sorted out for Virtuous and Bethesda Game Studios. Sorted out to Oblivion Remaster, running like absolute dog water on PC. Crashes. NPCs giving me uppies when talking to them, and that's really funny. And seeing the moon shine through trees on cloudy nights when the moon isn't visible at all in the night sky. I understand it's Bethesda, but if you have a monumental shadow drop, make sure it works. Thanks all. Or we'll get into some of that stuff when we talk about Oblivion.
Yeah.
There's definitely been some jank.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. And I guess without getting into it too much, it's not just PC.
Right. It's not just PC. It's just
this
the game.
game's performance is just not good across the board.
I played it on Xbox Series X, and I was like, "Wow, I can't believe I couldn't even finish a sentence. I can't believe I'm playing Oblivion in 60 FPS." Before I saw stutters, I was like, "Oh well." I couldn't even finish. I was talking to someone on the phone, and I was like, "I can't believe I'm playing Oblivion in 60 FPS." Wait, no.
Yep,
it's not happening here. Stutters abound. It's crazy.
Yes. Fun game though, but we'll get into it.
Yeah.
All right, this is Blaine Reinking. Sorted out to game developers that break their games when updates roll out. I recently played through AC Shadows, and about halfway through, I had no performance issues, crashes, or bugs. But when the first update was released, it would constantly crash, and I ran into a few audio/video bugs. I haven't experienced it yet, but I've heard the first update for the Oblivion Remastered has caused issues as well. These updates are supposed to fix the game, not break them.
Awesome.
This reminds me of NVIDIA drivers. When I would update my NVIDIA driver, and it just fucking make my computer screen black. I'm like, all right, cool. Thanks, NVIDIA. Appreciate that. I can roll back those updates.
I understand the frustration. I think it's a worthy sorted out. I feel like I have a little bit of sympathy where these games are so incredibly complex. They would never intentionally release an update to fuck it up. So I understand things can happen. I think the main thing is the response after something gets broken from an update in order to fix it as quickly as possible. But yeah, dude, the Oblivion, apparently the Game Pass version on PC just removed DLSS. So I don't know exactly, something with the UI that
That's
you
amazing.
cannot. So I was playing on Steam, so I didn't experience that. But yeah, it's definitely frustrating. I get it. It's annoying.
Damn. Yeah, you hate to see it. All right, but now it's time for things we don't hate to see. Keep it up. Fuck, the wrong tab for Dustin later. The exact opposite. There we go. Now, timestamp's fixed. Keep it up, boys. Stuff we're pleased with in gaming right now. Dustin, we'll start with you. Anything you're pleased with?
Yeah, I mean, I am just pleased. It's so obvious because we've already glazed Clair Obscur so much, but I'm happy, I guess, to see, and as Ben was saying earlier, the response to this game and seeing people lifting it up. And I guess this is kind of a negative, but I think that one of the interesting conversations that we'll continue to have about this game is how a smaller team was able to achieve something this massive and able to do it in such a great way that it's like in an industry that feels like it's burning from below, and seeing these teams spend massive amounts of money in order to achieve something that people don't even like, that it's like, man, we have this developer that is, 30 people plus outsourcing, of course, that was true to their vision and passionate and did not divert from that and was able to achieve something that is so universally loved because of that dedication to the passion. And you love to see that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So keep it up. And you don't get these types of games all that often that are this dedicated, and you can feel the passion through the game.
Yeah. Very nice. Gene, anything for you this week?
Not really. Yeah, I mean, like, what else? What else is there to praise other than Edition 33 doing a great job? I mean, I guess shout out to their marketing team. People call me out because I said I responded to a tweet saying that people are kind of glazing the game a lot, and I was like, it's a little weird, right? And people are like, well, why? Because the game is like made by a team of 30, and it's a turn-based RPG in a modern. And I was like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's a little weird that everybody is talking the same marketing points. It sounds like a lot of you aren't even fucking playing the game, because all you're saying is the same shit. You're not even talking about the good parts of the game that is very specific to the game. Everyone is just kind of like repeating and retweeting, and like it all honestly all feels like engagement bait to me, like really weak ones, where it's like you're just kind of trying to make the same point, trying to own the AAA industry by saying all this stuff, and it's a little weird, but it is a success in the marketing team that they were able to kind of execute on this and just get a bunch of people to just say the same thing,
Yeah.
So I don't know. But shout out to Kepler. You did a good job. You promoted the hell out of this fucking game.
Yeah, did a good job. For me, I'm not going to talk about the game today, but I did finish Indiana Jones, and I had a really good time with it. So I want to give a keep it up to Machine Games. Really fun. Capture the tone of the movies, the original trilogy, really well. Meaty game too. Lots of content in there as well. Like it took me like 30 something hours, I think, to finish everything.
Long game.
So really good time. Really fun. Shout out Machine Games.
I think it's interesting that Colin didn't really take to that game in the same way that Greg Miller didn't take to that game. I think they both were expecting like a more directed adventure game as opposed to
an Uncharted like type of thing, like
something closer to Uncharted. Like that's a lot more narratively, cinematically driven, as opposed to like, no, this is a point and click adventure game. Actually,
yeah.
And I don't think either of them expected that, and neither of them are really fans of that kind of game either. So it's like, yeah.
Really meaty side quests in that game too. Some really cool side quests. Really happy about that. Like 6 side dungeons and stuff like that. Getting to meet new characters. Cool stuff. All right. This is from Bush's Baked Beans. Wait, Baked Beans Dog. Is this like Micah's dog or something? Hello, Summonussies and honored guest Ben. Ben's out of here. I suppose there could be no other obvious a keep it up contender than Sandfall Interact with the resounding success in Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I was skeptical when early reviews came out, but after I played only a couple hours on Game Pass, I decided to buy it outright on Steam to support the devs, Dustin. I'm usually not a fan of JRPG style games, but I was hooked almost immediately. The story, characters, world, and most importantly, the impeccable gameplay are really a special combination of gaming goodness. And the fact that it was made by a team of roughly 30 people, Gene, can you believe that?
Right, 30 people supporting the devs. Do you hear what I'm talking about, man? Like, it's a little weird that everyone just keeps saying the same shit, man. Play the game and make your own conclusions. You sound like a sheeple, quite honestly. I hate to say it, but it's weird.
Wrote it.
Bush's Big Beans Dog.
Yeah. And it's only $50.
Yeah, $50. Oh my god! The AAA industry should be ashamed of itself.
Absolute cinema. Keep it up. Hey, we're not picking on you, Bush Baked Beans.
We're not picking on you. Yeah.
It's just funny.
I don't believe that you're being paid off by Kepler or Sandfall, but
Yeah, it was just really funny because we were just talking about shit like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Both Dustin and Gene subjects.
Right.
Good stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I'm glad Dustin sees it too. It's a little strange, man.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. There's part of me. I was about to say the same thing I already said. That it's like it's good to support the developers if you want to do that. The people I was mostly talking about, there's people that were clearly like, I'm not playing it on Game Pass.
Scolding. Yeah.
To be clear.
Yeah. To be clear. All right. This is from
To be clear.
This is from Clive's Skin Tight Leather Pants. I bet Ben would have liked to hear that. Hey, Barbershop Quartet. Keep it up. The 100-line Last Defense Academy. The brainchild of Kazutaka Kodaka, creator of Danganronpa and Kotaro Uchikoshi, creator of Zero Escape. The 100 line is best in class in the visual novel genre. Multiple routes, 100 endings, good lord, and near Fire Emblem level of tactical gameplay. The 100 line is swinging way above its weight class. The only fantasy here is yours, and we shall be your final witness kind of day.
When I said that line earlier, I missed the end part. Ben probably thought, wow, what a fucking idiot.
Yeah, what a dumb fan.
I'm in shambles.
Fake fan. He's never coming back.
Damn it.
All right. This is from Kaz and Risk.
Real quick. Sorry, Brad. I wanted to mention about this. I feel terrible for this game because I'm sure it probably is fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I played the demo. Well, part of the demo. It's a very long demo. Really enjoyed it. Apparently this game, there's a lot riding on it for the studio.
Oh, no.
I probably should just go buy it, even if I'm not going to play it now, because I want to support the devs.
Right.
But quite literally in this say, I do want to support the devs because apparently Tokyo Game's not doing so hot, but this game is supposed to be fucking awesome. It just came out, dude, like at the worst fucking time. Because even for someone like me who loves Danganronpa, loves Zero Escape, it's like I'm a little busy right now, and also no PS5 release, and I don't want to play it on Stinky Switch, but I want to play it on my TV. So
no PS5, huh? Okay.
A little annoying, but shout out to this game. I need to check it out.
Yeah. All right. And this is from Kaz and Risk. Hey, Starry-Eyed Summoners, I have a keep it up for Ben Starr. That Square Enix RPG ad is peak cinema. Quick question for Ben. Did you get your Switch to pre-order? And cheers and take care. Damn, we didn't ask him about that. Should have asked him if he got a Switch too. I'm going to assume yes. We'll leave it at there. We'll never find out, though. All right, boys. Final thing of the show. Oblivion Remastered. Which Shadow dropped, though we all knew it was coming for a very long time. Omega leaks on this game. But it's finally here. We played it. This is my first time playing it, but I know both of you have played it. Dustin, let's start with you. How's your Oblivion experience been?
Yeah, Oblivion. I feel like I was raised in these streets of Oblivion. And it's so cool being back. This was a game I played on the OG 360, as many people did. And this was a game that really got me into RPGs, or this kind of RPG, because I remember before that, on the original Xbox, I rented Morrowind, but I think I was in 3rd or 4th grade. No, it was probably around 4th or 5th grade. And I was too stupid for that game at the time. I was like, man, what's going on with this? So Morrowind didn't click with me at the time, but Oblivion, man, I think I rented it. And then after renting, I was like, I need this game. Sold every 360 game I had, which was probably only like Perfect Dark and 1 or 2 others in order to get this game, and absolutely fell in love with it. And playing this game, man, it's surreal in a lot of ways, seeing a lot of these iconic places in a beautiful remastered world. And one thing that we were concerned about on Sacred for a while was like, okay, we didn't know if it was a remaster or a remake. And this is clearly one of those games that kind of blurs the line in a lot of ways, where in a lot of ways it feels very much like a remake in terms of the graphics. But I think they said when they revealed it that like the bones of the original are there, and you can tell for all the good and bad parts of it,
right?
Where the core of the game is still in there, where a lot of awesome things can happen because of the jank in there. And I think that it would be a huge disservice if they took some of that jank out. I posted a clip on Twitter where there was a guy, we were going into this chapel to try to save people, and I went up and talked to him, and he has a fucking arrow literally through his neck. And he's like, we need to go help with medical assistance to any survivors. And then he turns and just
so
right through his neck.
That's awesome.
Great.
So that kind of stuff is awesome. And so it's been awesome going back and playing this game. And it's been interesting remembering parts of this game that I had completely forgotten about. Because for most of us, even if we played Oblivion, Skyrim, of course, is most fresh in our mind. And so it's cool to go back and feel like in a lot of ways, we lost some stuff from Oblivion to Skyrim that I didn't even realize. So it's a game that I really like. At the same time, which we got into this earlier, this game needs some work from a technical aspect. A lot of it probably has to do with Unreal 5. Unreal 5, man, is just becoming like when you hear a game is made in Unreal 5, it's like, oh man, here we go. PC port is probably going to be bad. Console port will be iffy. It's hard to say though, because I think Clair Obscur is Unreal 5, and the console versions of that game are really solid. But I'm hearing mixed things about the PC when you're not playing on Steam Deck, because Steam Deck has the preloaded shaders, I believe. So, so that helps quite a bit. But so yeah, this game like stutters all the time, even on my PC, which is like it's a really nice, like one of the best CPUs for gaming's 4090 in there. It still is going to stutter here and there, and it's just really annoying. I think Digital Foundry just put out a video even about the console versions too. That's like this is rough, and it's one of those things that we enabled this to happen, myself included, where they shadow drop this game. Everyone's pumped about how amazing it looks, and then you just go buy it. Just, click purchase because it's fucking Oblivion. Like it's crazy how they're bringing this game back and the quality of how it looks, but the performance is just really not acceptable in a lot of ways. And I feel bad for people in that I'm having a pretty decent experience with some flaws, but I also have a fucking crazy PC, and most people are not playing it on this hardware.
Nope.
And so it's frustrating. It's clearly underbaked in a lot of ways. But with that said, I'm having a fun time going back. It's been fun too because Holly, who most of her experiences with Skyrim, is playing this game for the first time. So she's playing it on one of my older computers, like her laptop, which is like a gaming PC. I think it has like a 2060 mobile in it. And I was like, so what do you think about it so far? And she's like, well, it kind of hurts to play because the computer gets so hot through the keyboard that it feels like it's burning my hands.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I was like, oh no. So we might need to get a new computer at some point, but she's having a fun time despite that.
Cool. Awesome. Gene, yeah, you are a big Oblivion fan as well. I think, wasn't on Punching Up, you talked about it, the original, when you played it, when it came out.
Yeah.
You just like, that's all you did for a long time.
Yeah, I had no, I moved to Hawaii and I left all my game consoles with my sister, who's a gamer too. So I was like, oh, I don't need to bring all this. I can I'll get a job and I'll get my own game consoles. And I didn't have a job for like a month and a half. When I finally got my job, my first paycheck, and I was with my ex-fiance at the time. So we had nothing to do. Went out and bought an Xbox 360 and I bought a copy of Oblivion and Gears of War. And man, playing Oblivion in a new state, a new world, a new job. It really felt like I was really going on a real adventure, in every sense of the word, in every like hour of my days. Because all I would do is just go to work, just go back home and play some Oblivion. So I will take the bad parts out first. This game runs like trash. It's I bought it on the Xbox. I did get a code for it on Steam. I played it on the Steam Deck because it's verified on Steam Deck, right? So it's like you get the big old green badge on Oblivion, and it's like, okay, this game is gonna work. The game works. The game looks like ass. It looks worse than the original version of the game. Period. Like it looks crazy. Like it looks unfinished. It looks like the way my hair looks on my chin, like all scattered, the grass. Like it's so bad. It runs like shit on the Steam Deck. It's crazy that they were like, oh yeah, verify this. And then meanwhile, Clair Obscur was unsupported for a while. It's supported and playable now on Steam Deck, but it was unsupported for a while, and that just ran like not miles better. Like it still had trouble too, but it's just running better. But it's a much smaller game, of course, right? Oblivion and Bethesda games are massive games, and Starfield doesn't even barely works on the Steam Deck too. just trying to jam that in there, So I bought the Xbox version because I was like, I want to play a proper, real, immersive Oblivion experience. So I bought it, and again, like I said earlier, I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm playing Oblivion in 68 frames per. Well, there's a stutter right there, and wow, it's stuttering all over the fucking place. And let me drop it down to quality. Let me see if I can just get it to a consistent 30. Nope.
Damn.
Still looks in the Xbox Series X. This is supposed to be the premium one. But, honestly, when you think about it, the Xbox Series X and the PS5s are really closer to Holly's laptop. They're closer to a 2070 and 2080, as PCs goes. So if Holly's laptop is struggling, then I can only imagine that the PS5 and Xbox versions are also struggling too. All that being said, man, it feels good to be back in Oblivion, right? As I'm just like, I go find Joffrey, the master of the blades, because I knew instinctively that you should just do the MSQ first because you get some good shit if you just go to Joffrey. And sure enough, you got a horse right there. And I'm just walking through this Oblivion forest on a horse, which could be greener. It still looks ugly as a burnt out forest. This forest should be fucking green. That complaint still holds for me. But that said, it's still designed like a forest. I'm like walking around, a wolf comes to attack us. I have to get off my horse and I have to kill the monster because I know that this horse is going to die if I don't. That's a real RPG right there. Cyberpunk. If you crash your car, you can just call up another one right away and it'll come in within seconds. You get a new car right away. That's not so much of an RPG as Oblivion, where if you lose your horse, you're fucked. Except if you do certain quest lines.
Oh.
You should do the Dark Brotherhood quests because then you'll get a horse that doesn't die. Right?
That's cool. I didn't know that.
And then
Okay, good. I have something to say after you're done.
Yeah. And the other thing about that horse is that, this game has a weight limit. You can kill the horse and you can stuff its dead body with all your shit. And then the horse will come back to life. And then boom, you have a moving storage unit.
Whoa.
So I'm working on finishing that quest and the Thieves Guild quests because you get a fucking key that will just unlock everything. So you never have to deal with the unlocking unlocking minigame over and over again. So some tips for the players out there. If you want to make the game a little bit easier, get that horse, get the lockpick, do both of those quest lines, and they also happen to be the best quest lines almost ever in an RPG. Like they're definitely ranked among the best, not even just in Oblivion, but they're definitely the best quest lines that Elder Scrolls ever had, and you get some amazing rewards. But like that level of jank, but being able to stuff your horse with like thousands of pounds of shit, it's like that's pure Bethesda goodness right there. I love that shit, and also I don't understand the leveling system quite yet, and I haven't really dug into how that works. I'm just kind of like vibing with the game and just going with the flow right now. I'm still really early. I shut down the first Oblivion gate. That was cool to see the effects. But yeah, Dustin, I want to hear what you have to say about the horse.
My sensor was going off though. I'm like, I'm about to walk all over what Gene's about to say because I was like, dude, the horse that you can stuff. You can just load him up with shit. You kill him. It feels kind of bad the first time. You're like, no, I'm going to kill this horse. And he just lays there. You stuff his insides with armor, potions, whatever. He gets right back up. He's fine. Good to go.
Yeah.
I remember discovering that, like reading that on like game FAQs or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so yeah, dude, some of the like, it's one of those games where I don't want to break it when I'm playing it, but I know so many ways to break it. And that's kind of some of the charm and some of the fun. One thing that you can do in I think it's the Mages Guild, you'll eventually get like the enchanting table. If you level up your enchanting pretty high, you can apply a % invisibility on each part of your armor. And if it's high enough, you can just make yourself like the invisible man and no one will ever see you.
Yep.
And you've completely broken the game at that point where you have invisible armor.
You can't even see you can't even see your character.
That's pretty sick.
It's awesome. And dude, there's some glitch. I wonder if it's in this new version where in the arena you can like jump up and get to the sidelines where no one can attack you. And so like you can just jump up and shoot arrows at people. And this is like shit that I was messing around with when I was, I don't know, 13. Like, oh, look, I could jump up here and I could snipe everybody. There's just all kinds of fun, weird little things in this game that you can do.
Yeah, you can level up your sneaking all the way to master level at the very first dungeon in the game when you intro. You know, I did that too. I started a new game and I got a rubber band and I just like started crouching near a guard. I would go to work, come back later. Bam, you're a master of sneaking, and the level scaling is for the original game is off the charts. Where it's like immediately everyone started wearing Daedric armor, and like the bandits like started having glass armor and like green swords. And it's like, what the fuck kind of world is this? And then you have to like deal with that for a bit. But you know, I dealt with it because it's fine. You know, it's Oblivion. That's Elder Scrolls. It's stupid and it's interesting. And it's an RPG that you can play around with. You know.
Yeah, I think. Look, you guys are saying some of that like weird, I guess, jank or something like that is definitely part of the charm of these games. That just being able to do really goofy, crazy shit to break the game, I think is very funny. For me, it's been a strange experience because the only Elder Scrolls game I've ever played is Skyrim. So I'm going into this completely blind. I don't know anything about Oblivion. And I've been having fun playing. I'm playing as like I made my guy look like Dracula and he's a necromancer. So I just have all these cool necromancy spells. Like I have a little skeleton that comes out with an axe. He's OP as fuck, by the way, that skeleton. He does so much damage. He rules. Like I did some of the Mage Guild stuff and I was trying to buy, they have like, this guy has all those cool spells, like something like a zombie or other cool shit. And my magic's not high enough. So I'm pissed, but I'll be back, motherfucker. But, there's definitely been, I'll just get the bad out of the way. Is like, yeah, it does not run good. That's for sure. Some of the quests have been broken for me. Like there's this one early on where you have these two brothers and you like go to a farm and defend it with them from like some like goblins or some shit. And it just didn't spawn in, guys. So I'd have to like restart things. I've had to restart things a couple times to get them to like trigger actually. I'm like, what is going on in this game? Like, how is this still a thing right now? In the fucking remaster, like 20 years later, like they're still having these kind of problems. It's crazy. It is very janky. Some of the NPCs, how they move, how they talk. I think that is part of the charm. I'm very happy they kept in like the zoom face when you talk to someone. Like you got to keep that. It's so stupid, but I'm happy it's there. It is an option to turn it off. I have a question for you guys though. Is the third person new or is this a older thing?
Yeah, it's older, but it's never looked as good before. You know?
Okay.
There was no animations for diagonal movement. I can't even remember whether there probably was animation for like side movement, but there was definitely no like diagonal movement. So when you're moving up, you're just like your legs are just going like this. So it's like mega cheap, you know, but you know, I still played it in third person back in the day because this was the only kind of game at the time, you know, and so you just dealt with it. But like, man, like seeing the third person camera now and like there's hair physics and cloth physics, you know, like all of that shit is new. And I was like, wow, this is like, you know, like I'm like bouncing on my horse and I see like my cloth like bounce up and down. It's like that's really, really immersive. The horse animation is a lot better. The horse animation was terrible in Oblivion, and it was terrible in Skyrim too, honestly. So it looks a lot better here. So,
yeah, they've tweaked like the combat, haven't they? Or like melee combat, they've tweaked some of that
a little bit. The combos are a little different, yeah.
Okay,
it kind of feels cool. You're going, whoosh, and then like your arm kind of stays that way. You know, it's interesting, and it still feels like Oblivion, but it feels just a little bit more engaging. You know. They definitely try to make it a little bit closer to Skyrim for sure. I think.
I enjoyed the freedom, of course, that you get from these games. One thing I found surprising is you can kind of fast travel to like any city immediately. You don't have to like run to them or anything like that. You can just fast travel to them. I was very surprised about that. I'm very happy though. I was doing some of the Mage Guild quests, and of course, the quests, they have like different outcomes and what you do, and like they give you choices like that. And I ran into issues already where I'm like, I don't really know what to do here. I don't know what I want to do. So I'm really happy about that. I think it's always interesting when a game makes me kind of think like that. And it's been fun. I've killed a couple people. One time on accident, I actually like shot someone with like a spell and like fried them. It was pretty cool, but it's been really fun. I can't wait to do the Dark Brotherhood stuff. and all those quests. I remember them from Skyrim and like all the Thieves Guild and Warrior Guilds. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be cool.
That was the annoying thing about Skyrim is that like those quests, like I was really looking forward to them, and they were such a downgrade from Oblivion. I'm like, man,
damn,
Oblivion really nailed it in terms of like what those quest lines could be.
Yeah,
the writing too, you know.
It's been interesting. Like some of the quests in the game, it's like someone, I guess, technically gives you a quest, but it's not really in your quest log right away, or you'd have to like maybe read a journal or like a piece of paper or something, I guess, to get more of it. So it's not so quests aren't, you have to pay attention more, as I guess is what I'm saying. Like if someone tells me something now, I'm like, okay, I should do this now before I forget.
Yeah.
Because I don't have like a little entry in my quest log. So that has just been kind of an adjustment period for me. But I'm totally fine with it. I just didn't really understand how things worked necessarily in that sense. But now I'm learning the game more and how all the systems kind of work. Like magic's really fun in the game. I love shooting spells like little fireballs at people. I got a shield and like a melee weapon too. They get close. It's been cool. Going to the Oblivion Gate, I was like, oh, this is like Doom 2016 now. We're in hell right now. So that's been pretty fun.
You know what also has the same story as Oblivion? A Minecraft movie.
Really?
Oh shit!
It's the same thing. You're trying to start. You're trying to close shut the jaws of the other world. You know?
Oh yeah.
With Jack Black. It's the exact same fucking story. Oh my god, dude! I was like, what the fuck? This is like Minecraft.
That's really funny. But yeah, I mean, there's so like I've barely scratched the surface of this game. It's a fucking massive game because this includes like the DLC and stuff like that.
Yeah, so, Shivering Isles is the first DLC that made people consider, oh, can DLC be Game of the Year? It's interesting because Oblivion is such a historic game because Horse Armor is the first real controversial microtransaction ever, right? Like Horse Armor was the small domino that started all the other bullshit that we're going through. And then later on, Oblivion came out with like the best DLC like we had ever seen in a game before. You know, this was huge. It was a whole new world, new systems, new weapons, new characters. It was so fun. It's funny that Oblivion was able to like encapsulate both spectrums of like microtransaction and like what like the goodness and hellishness of it, you know?
Yeah.
Real quick, there's 2 DLCs, right? Because I think I bought Knights of the Nine.
Knights of the Nine, yeah, that's the first one.
I think I bought that. And I think I remember it being not very good.
Not that good. It wasn't that good.
And I think that made it so I didn't play Shivering Isles because I was, in 7th grade, I think. I was looking, my first achievement for Oblivion was on May 22nd, 2006.
Wow, cool.
Man, I would have been in...
First achievement? Where'd you find that?
I had to open up my Xbox app on my Windows and scroll and find it. It took forever. But May 22nd, 2006, I would have been in 6th grade, like towards the tail end of my 6th grade.
That's cool, dude. Fuck. Damn. Dude, you're playing fucking Oblivion. I was playing like Pokemon in 6th grade on Red and Blue.
Yeah, that's cool.
Man, times have changed. But yeah, Oblivion's cool. I definitely want to finish the game. I know people love this game, so I would like to see it through. I'm having a good time playing it. It's just there's a lot of shit out right now, so finding time for it. But the cool thing about this game is I feel like I can hop into it and out pretty easily.
Yeah.
It's pretty good for that. So, because it's kind of is like the game is like what you make of it in a lot of ways. So it's been a good time. But yeah, it needs some patches, but it's cool.
Yeah, Steam Cloud Save doesn't even fucking work. Like it does work, but then you have to like go into your folders and like change the pathing. And I'm like, this is why I like console gaming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's so stupid that I have to like figure out like where the saves go so I can transfer my save to Steam Deck. So that's why I actually bought the Xbox version, and that's why I'm kind of you're right. I think I'm just gonna tap out of this game for a bit and wait for it to clean up a bit before I go back in.
Yeah. AJ White wrote in right here, "Hey boys, please tell me I'm not the only one who hates the Khajiit redesign in Oblivion Remaster. They look too friendly and anthropomorphic, almost like you're at a furry convention. Besides that, and some UE5 issues, the rest of the game is excellently done. Excited to hear your thoughts." Now, Gene, this reminded me because you're talking about the green color of the game, and I have noticed, like, I looked at some screenshots and I was like, man, I kind of like the way, like, they, in my opinion, they go overboard with the bloom in the original, but I do like the green that was there a lot because it is a lot more green.
Yeah.
From what I've seen. I mean, I haven't played the original, so I don't know, but I'm kind of like wanting to see what the original vision looked like of that game now. But yeah, what do you guys think of the Khajiit? Do they look too furry?
They do look furry. They look very round and bulbous and fuzzy, as opposed to like they're really angular and like a little aggressive looking in the old games. You know, and they could be friendly, but like they're mostly like ordinary people. You know,
right?
Like so for them to like be like yeah, and then they look like so cute.
Yeah.
They look super cute. You know, it's a little weird. You know.
Yeah.
And some of the characters look like the fucking character creation is like so fucking ugly. It's hilarious. It's so good.
Yeah, you can get crazy in there.
Yeah, you can get so stupid with it. It's so funny.
I was just trying to make a character that wasn't a default character, but wasn't ugly.
Impossible.
So to make a character that's unique and not the default, but not ugly.
The defaults are ugly too. Yeah.
My character looks okay, but I should have just made him fucking Dracula like Brett did.
Yeah. My guy's like a dark elf and he's got like he's like all just fucking shitty, like walking around. It's awesome, dude. He looks so dumb. All right. This is from Elon Chan. What's up, cock knockers? Whoa. Oblivion is the perfect remake. Here's why. When it came out 20 years ago, I was slaving away in a circuit city. I bought a copy and took it to a friend's house, where everyone simultaneously sat in amazement and shock.
Circuit City, holy shit.
Yeah, as a second mutual friend played nonstop for almost 8 hours. Oblivion Remake comes out. I'm 39. I get it ASAP and install it on my PS5. What happens? My wife commandeers the controller and gets lost in the sauce. Thankfully, she bought a copy for her Steam Deck, and then I got back to worshiping the Todd head. But seriously, the synchronicity in events was too funny. Shut closed the jaws of Oblivion.
Listen, get your girl in line. This is your game. I'm assuming your console.
Well,
which I guess he did get her because she got on Steam Deck. Okay,
he got her in line. He got her in line by buying her own copy.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
There you go. What a simp, dude. That's just kidding. For his wife.
What a simp for his wife.
I make Holly play, so we're able to play the same copy, but she has to keep her Steam off, or it's my Steam logged onto her computer offline in order to play.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Perfect remake? Doesn't sound like, in my opinion. But
no, I wouldn't say that.
No.
I think,
well, it's so nitpicky.
It's not Resident Evil 1.
Oh yeah. I'll be honest, guys. The grass thing does bother me, and I feel I'm annoyed with myself how much that I'm like, I need to look at installing. There's like mods that can make the grass more green. It's such a small detail, but it is one of my vivid memories of that game.
I think that's not a nitpick at all. I think that's a big part of the identity of the game.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it is.
Stop saying that it's more realistic. This is not a real thing. This is a fantasy world. You know,
right?
Why don't you green it up a little bit?
Yeah,
green it up, guys. But luckily, ignorance is bliss for me.
Oh, sorry, but that's the thing about Shivering Isles is that the environments are like really interesting. So I'm wondering how it looks like here, because like Shivering Isles was like bringing it back to like the Morrowind style of fantasy, more like an alien planet versus like, oh, this is just Europe, you know?
Yeah.
And that's right. It's kind of funny to play Oblivion so closely after Kingdom Come Deliverance. Like it really has similar vibes, except that Kingdom Come Deliverance had more fucking green trees, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
It does.
Got a lot of nice green in those games.
Yeah.
All right, boys. I think that is it for this episode of Summon Sign. A very fun one. Of course, we had Ben Starr for most of it, but he had to go, sadly. But we got to talk about some Oblivion, which is cool because I know both of you love the original. Good to hear your guys' thoughts. I don't know. I'm ready to get the hell out of here. What about you boys? Anything you want to talk about before we go?
Sorry for the audience. You're going to hear me on 3 different episodes this week. When Micah was asking about scheduling, she's like, we have this Friday open for Constellation. I'm like, probably not. Just because I'm on a lot this week, but that's okay. I like doing it. But yeah, this has been fun. It's great to meet Ben. Thank you to the audience, because I put in our Discord a few days ago, I said, I think I have a man crush on Ben Starr. And I thought one of you fuckers is going to write in and say something about that and expose me in front of him. But you didn't. So thank you.
Yeah, I didn't see anything about that.
Good. Good. Thank you. I have a little trust in the audience then.
Yeah.
So
they send in a lot of questions. Unfortunately, we can't read all of them, but I do read all of your entries. So thanks, everybody. There was like over 80 or something, I want to say.
Nice.
80 something write-ins.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. So it's good stuff. All right. I think we're ready to get out of here then. Thank you, everybody, for listening, watching. We appreciate it. We'll see you next episode. Take care, everybody. Goodbye. Summon Sign is a product of Last Stand Media and Colin's Last Stand LLC and is proudly recorded in the USA. The show is written and hosted by me, Brad Ellis. The show is produced by Dustin Furman. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. Summon Sign, along with the rest of Last Stand's media shows, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer level on Patreon, our highest tier, and we are grateful for your kind contribution and generosity to our independent endeavor. Thank you.